And we're live. Let's do this thing. Actually, let me eat some takoyaki real quick. Don't want to do that on camera. Okay, now let's do this thing. Good evening, y'all. I know nothing attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. And we got to get to this thing and make sure that we're all set up right. Optimus, no. I am not ready for tonight, but I'm as ready as I can be. I wish I had more time to do prep. Right? Okay. Where did my Discord go? Here we go. Thanks, babe.
Of course.
Okay, I gotta figure out how to get this video link to work. Okay. Video source. There we go. All right. Okay. Oh, good. I've got Play-Doh over on that side. Can't see me on Twitch, but I'm gonna see. Ah, well. I'm a dad, I guess. Hey, thanks. This is a brand new shirt. I wasn't sure how I felt about it because it almost broke my brain a little bit because whoa, 25 stream streak? Damn. But the shirt is like intentionally blue in places and black in places. Like, what? Can I show it? Like, it's blue right here and then black down here. It looks like it's like washed out in places, but it's weird. But I'm glad you like it. And I am now in their debate stream. I gotta make sure let's do new scene. Oh shoot, I can't hear you guys. Oh, I think I know why. Just sorting out the technical difficulties. And my screen is up. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Need my Discord. What's going on, Jamie Joint Jones? Man. Is this the link I need? Sorry for the wait, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to get the Video Ninja link to work right. I'm coming. I'm getting help on the Discord voice. We could probably yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, he does.
Yo, I totally forgot the step of joining the voice chat.
No worries. Welcome in, sir.
Highly important.
So what I was saying, so where are you at on the, you're saying browser window? I'm not sure what you meant by that.
So I shared the URL with the browser scene, setting it up, and it's just showing me the join room with camera or screen share with room picture. I can't interact.
That's what you should be doing.
Well, I'm already.
Yeah. So it's literally just for your video. Is it up and running? Sorry, I haven't even.
Well, I can see you guys on my screen, but on OBS.
Oh yeah.
On OBS,
okay,
it's just
so
showing,
Yep. Yeah, so you wouldn't want to put that on OBS, right?
Okay.
You can if you want to. How have you guys been doing that for OBS and stuff? Like I generally have been doing my camera in Discord, I think. Okay, no, hang on. Let me stop that.
OBS for like what?
So he's got his camera going into the doohickey, right? Into the Video Ninja.
I'm streaming right now, and forgive me, I'm still new to this.
Yep, no worries. No worries.
If you have a virtual camera within that, say start virtual camera.
What he's saying.
So it doesn't require, like, I know in OBS at least it says start virtual camera.
Do you
it'll just be me then, not sharing with you guys. Okay. Cool.
Well, You could do that. Another possibility,
Or
another option, what some people do is literally just bring up the stream, my stream, on your screen in the background so that people can see all the faces and all the bells and whistles and shit. And then you're just in your in your little corner of whatever your screen. How you want to lay it out is
Sure,
entirely
let's
up to
do
you,
that.
obviously. But that's a good way that you can still see. But again, in my window, you should be able to see in the Discord as well as in there. You'll see the timer whenever we're doing the thing. So
All right.
all right. So and also I did send you an invite for sharing to do the stream together thing. That if you go to your Twitch dashboard, up in the top row, you'll see like messages, and then next to it is notifications. If you open up the notifications, you should see the invite there. You should be able to just click through it. Once you get into it, make sure you mute and deafen in there as well. That way you're not hearing double, or we're not hearing you double. You're going to also get to see shared chat. So basically, like, your chatters are going to be able to communicate with Lethe's chatters, are going to be able to communicate with
Rad.
my chatters, are going to be. So yeah, it's really cool for like community building and such like that. Plus we all get the benefit of each other's, you know what I mean? Like, we get a bigger number
love
of
this.
viewers. We get into as many different windows as possible. I do generally prefer, I don't know what category you're streaming under. I'm currently under politics. If y'all really want to be under politics, that's fine. I'll go over to podcasts. I don't mind. That's where I usually do it, but I figured with the Friday night I would try out on politics just for a hoot. But again, you guys are more, especially if you've got the actual stream picture up on yours in politics, then I can fuck off over into podcasts. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And Lethe, you're under just chatting, I assume?
Yes.
Very cool, sir. And Vigi, did you say you are or are not going to be streaming?
I'm streaming.
All right, very cool. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense for us to like be battling for the same category. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh God, that's weird. I don't like it.
Don't like what? What don't you like?
Ah, better.
What did we do? What did you figure
This
out?
thing is weird. Oh, I turned on the light.
Oh, well, you know what? I guess everybody's here except Chief. Has Chief been involved in the prep? Does Chief know he's fucking debating tonight? I think he does.
I hope not. I sure hope not. I mean,
Right, prep.
yeah, he
right.
knows everything.
I assume he does. So it looks like we are still waiting on you, Game Boy, and we are still waiting on Let's Chief. So that's okay. I was actually
waiting on
expecting
me
to have to
for
sit
what?
here and your camera is not up into the Video Ninja, sir. Wait.
I
For
don't
some
think I ever
reason-
got sent the Video Ninja.
You sure did.
Where?
Hmm,
Is that a
In
PC
Discord.
term now?
this is
In what?
In Discord.
Where in Discord?
I messaged it to you. I didn't. Oh my God, I suck. I'm fucking
I-
fired, boys. Oh my God, dude.
He
What
doesn't
kind
trust
of
me to the point where he
janky-ass
doesn't
shit?
believe my word.
What kind of janky ass
I'd
shit are we
swear on my
doing?
mama that it wasn't sent to me. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right. It's there now, though, buddy.
okay.
It was sent. It was sent to you exactly 1 minute ago.
All right. I'll open it up.
You still joining us tonight, Chief? Okay, so I don't understand why I do remember why, because I'm not doing it into there. I'm doing it into there, but that's okay because I don't want the thing in my. Never mind. See, this is all new, just so you know, attorney. I'm gonna call you attorney, but that seems weird. Like it seems almost diminutive to call somebody by their job title, right?
I'm gonna
Like-
call
Totally
him No
Austin,
Nothing.
It's good.
Like, hey, baggage boy, come here, right? So, anyways.
No, nothing or Austin is fine.
All right, cool. So we'll probably call you Know Nothing just because we do try to keep it above board and non-doxy as much as possible. But yeah, so there's a lot of things that we're doing here that are kind of new to us as well. But you're gonna get to see on the stream the beauty of the Video Ninja thing. And again, if anybody out there is looking for advice or tips or whatever, we're not like some streamers who claim our shit's proprietary. We'll happily show you how to do the magic. We don't mind showing you how the soup gets made. So But yeah, it'll make it so that we can move stuff around. Like in regular Discord, you can't your box, the format, the layout is static. You can't do anything about it. So we started trying to find a way to like route Discord through a browser window and into a browser source. That didn't work. So Let's Chief actually figured out this trick where we're able to do all kinds of nifty cool things like zoom in on people and do like 1v1 screens and all kinds of cool shit. So, and all of that's going to happen if Let's Chief ever fucking shows up. You did see the link now, right? Game Boy?
Oh yeah, I'm just having tech difficulties now.
That
I
checks
it's
out.
gonna be up by Chief here's.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure my stuff out.
No worries. That's fine. Like I said, we've got a few minutes anyway. So let
Moving
me go ahead and go over there. We do, sir. Just again until Chief gets here. So let me mute. Let me go over there and take a look and see what you got going on, bud. No, nothing attorney. There we go. And by the way, chat, we do appreciate you all being patient as always. We will get this party started as quickly as we possibly can. Oh yeah, that's not what it's supposed to look like, is it? All right.
I
So,
tried,
you're
tried
looking at a
doing
black
window
screen.
capture of your Twitch stream, but it was delayed. So
That can happen. That can happen. Another option then would be, yeah, like I said, how are you doing it? Let's go look up Lethe's skirt.
I'm just I mean, just showing Video Ninja on screen.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Because I mean,
that
what am I to
probably makes
do?
that probably makes more
Show
sense.
Discord? Yeah, because what am I gonna do? Show Discord where nobody has their camera on except for
Right.
Radish?
Yeah, that's what people want to see.
Although all you cats and kittens are welcome to do the duel into Discord as well. So that, I mean, again, it's up to y'all.
Yeah, but the
Sounds
problem is
good.
that I get
Yeah, exactly. That's what Lethe seems to be doing.
I
I'm
have
sorry,
fucking
what's
2
her?
gig internet. I'll do it. I don't care.
My
Got it.
microphone's not working. Oh no. Did this
We
thing
can hear
steal
you
my
just dandy.
microphone?
It might have. Tell it no.
'Cause
You need to
I
defend
don't-
yourself, Lethe. There are predators in the world, my friend.
I don't think allowing me to split the audio.
It stands for negative, nerdy. It stands for negative. Hey, there's Game Boy.
Game Boy every time.
Every time. He does not disappoint.
okay.
Yeah, no. AF is
There we
A.
go. There we go.
Neg
Now I got
is there. You go.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
work. I can't get
Denied.
audio. Wait, no, there's audio. Okay, all better.
Permission denied to access camera from within OBS. Please refer to.
No. I think I've got it.
That's weird.
I've got it.
Oh no.
Check 1 2. Okay.
You sound beautiful.
Yeah, this is the one. That'll do it.
And now we
Hey,
wait on Chief.
it's a little big. It's a little big.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
Okay, so that's what the. Okay, yeah. See, that's not what Video
Yep.
Ninja looks like to me at all. That looks way better for y'all. Okay. For me, it is just gross looking. Here, you know what? Actually, I guess I can show you guys.
Nope, my audio's screwed.
Where at in your
Maybe
stream?
that works. No, I'm trying to get the audio for this up. Let me turn this all the way down first. Because I think people can hear me, but they can't hear everybody else.
Got you. Here, I'm going to show you
Coming
guys
up
real quick what it
crazy.
looks like. This is what I thought y'all were looking at. Because that's what it looks like for me. And I'm like, you don't want to share that. That's fucking garbage.
Turn it way down.
Oh, fucking rip.
Yeah. It's like that's not presentable.
Yeah, no, it just looks like Discord in a browser window for the rest of us.
Right on.
Yep, with a bunch of buttons at the bottom.
Okay. Did you sort out the audio?
Yep. Usually I can have that thing completely all the way up, but if I have it up, it overmodulates. Why do I know that word? Never mind. Yeah, let's party.
Yeah. Again, we're just missing Let's Chief. So what I'm going to do, and I'll be able to chop this in the VOD later and make it look all nice like I did for Castle last time. There's a turd in every single punch bowl in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the table. Give everybody a second to introduce themselves to the audience. Tell everybody who you are, what you're about, where they can find you, and all of that jazz. We'll say it again later as well. But let's start
Is
with,
Chief
of
not
course,
coming?
he better be.
Oh, hey, Radish.
But
So remember you were
yes, sir.
talking about the etymology of the word based?
Yes.
So
Little
the
B base
person
god.
that's little B, the base god. That's where the term base came from.
Got you. Okay. Oh, the picture, the person in the
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that's the
base
bikini
dude
god.
that
boy.
started calling himself the base god.
Okay. I mean, those earrings
I
are
was
what I would consider based. So
I I was listening to him earlier this morning. Lethe, have you heard "I'm a god"
Yes, I
or "I'm
have.
God" or whatever? Dude.
wow.
New name, base god, ice cream paint job.
Oh hell yeah, bro. Thank you, base god. I don't ever know
I
what
can't
happened
tell
to
if you guys
those
are
guys.
being smartasses or not. Like I can't gauge my tism is
Birth
not
of rap.
getting the sarcasm through. So I just need you to make a sarcasm face for me if you're being smartasses, please.
Cannot
No?
hear anybody else on the stream other than you. We literally cannot.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. We all have audio issues. Let's go.
You're talking to me?
Rip. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking to you.
Like, I'm back again. We can hear it through echo in a way, but we don't
Nope,
actually
you got
hear
it.
their.
You got it. You got it. I figured it out. My fucking bad. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Kay.
See what happens when
Thank
Chief
you,
doesn't
Kay.
show up?
That's exactly right. My sound guy's not here and I don't have a fucking sound check. So it should be sounding all right. But you know what? Just because I'm going to agree, let's listen to Know Nothing. I hear my obnoxious voice. All right. Lethe.
I hear you.
Yep. I hear myself 3 times. All right, cool. So at least it's going through with y'all. And then where's Vigi? Vigi. There you are, buddy. Let's go ahead and get you pulled up as well so I can see what you look like. Yep. There we go. All right, cool. Very cool. All right. Well, Kay, stand by because I'm hoping Chief is okay, but we're going to give him about another 15 minutes. If he's not here by 7:30, we're just going to have to find a stand-in.
I mean, I wouldn't
So
spend that much money to to make sure
Kay
that
would do
Chief
it.
gets here on time. Just to
wait
let
a
K
minute.
step in.
Is that what I walked into? Is that were y'all bribing Chief off of the debate? Is that what was going on?
Absolutely not. I would never do something like that.
I don't think Chief ever received $40 through Apple Pay. I think
No.
that's blasphemous to assume he received $40.
You guys. All right, so we're gonna go back through it now. Now that we've gotten, I think hopefully everybody's able to be heard, and everything else. So we're gonna go back through it, and I'm gonna cut this in. Like I said, we're gonna get all this garbage and nonsense out for the VOD. But for those of you who are here for the live, you guys get to see all of the craziness and the hijinks. So let's start from scratch. Number 1, Doomer, captain of the team Affirmative. Tell us about yourself. Tell us where to find you. Tell us what you're about, sir.
Yeah, I'm Doomer. You can find me at the Radish Patch. That's Radish's Discord here. Not generally elsewhere for now at the moment, but yeah, hop in the Discord, say something stupid. I'm sure to hop around and find you.
That is true. You do have a tendency to put people in their places. Okay, so now we're going to go over there to Mr. Know Nothing. Do me a favor, sir. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what you're about. Tell us where people can find you.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Know Nothing Attorney. This is my first debate. You can call me Know Nothing. You can call me Austin. I'm located out of Austin, Texas. Medicaid attorney. I fledgling streamer. My project is to succeed at the impossible goal of trying to have a constitutional convention because it's the only way to fix all the constitutional holes we have. And other than that, it's just for the fun of the game. Love constitutional law and love debate.
Cheers.
And you can find me at Know Nothing Attorney on YouTube and Twitch.
Yep. And I actually just threw a shout out into the chat for everybody for you. I would kick it to Let's Chief, but motherfucker ain't here. So instead, we're going to go to Vigilante, the captain of Team Negative. Sir, please. Oh no, that's not you. That's you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where to find you. What you're about, sir.
Yeah, so I'm the Vigilante TV. I do a lot of debates, primarily just debate right wingers, and also do Radish's debates sometimes. Mostly do it to make people look dumb. It's because it's fun and it's funny. And then I also do gaming streams sometimes. You can find me at the Vigilante TV here on Twitch. You can also find me on TikTok and Twitter. My link tree is in my bio. It's got all my links.
And unfortunately, it tells me I can't shout out two people that fast because Twitch is stingy. So we're going to go over to you, Mr. Lethe. One more time. Tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where to find you.
Lethe Water Kai on all platforms. Just this dude that pulls up. Usually should be persona non grata. We're totally not chaotic this week. Everything's in full homeostasis. No problems, no issues. All peace and love. So good to see everybody tonight, and thanks for having me on, Horseradish.
Oh, sir, the honor is mine as always. And I can't believe I am going to do this, but let's make that bigger for everybody. Game Boy, tell us about yourself. Tell us where tell us where to find you. And tell us what you're about.
I'm Game Boy. I'm an ex-convert of Sufi Muslim jihad. I debate sometimes, not often. Radish doesn't really let me on anymore. I don't stream. I post YouTube shorts occasionally. Free Pooh Shiesty.
Free my boy Pooh Shiesty.
Sweet Jesus. All right. So I while we're still waiting, you said something about a constitutional convention. First of all, we will discuss Austin at some other time. I left Austin after about 20 years, so we can definitely compare notes.
Where to?
I'm curious, yeah, or two. So I moved to Washington. Actually, I moved to the most beautiful place in this country. So,
Taking my
and
first
I
trip
have
up
not
there
regretted
this
it a
summer.
day.
Can't wait.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you, it'll break you. It'll break you. So we had been in Austin for about 18 years. My wife and I came up here on a vacation once. We were on our way back, already planning our next vacation. I was like, what if we were to just move to the place we want a vacation? How about that? And turned out that it was about the same cost as a fucking vacation. So we've been Washingtonians ever since. And man, let me tell you, when my Austin friends like bitch and moan about, oh, it's 90 degrees in March. And I'm like, yeah, that's gotta suck. Cause there was drizzle this morning and it's like 55 degrees in heaven. So, and everything's green and it smells like nature. So,
Man.
anyways, yeah. Yeah, I will say Oregon almost caught us though, because we drove up and Oregon was almost pretty enough to stop us, but no, Washington is the shit. So, and they like guns here. That's a big plus. Like I thought that Washington is basically the Texas of the North, in my experience. I have a whole theory
How long
about
did it take them to release their slaves?
Buddy, it's not.
I don't
It's
think we.
Ohio
I
is.
don't think we. I don't think they. What did you just fucking say?
That's what you always
Ohio-
Did
say.
you just
Ohio
say
is the Texas of
Ohio
the
is the
North.
Texas of the North? That you do.
I
Go,
don't
Yes.
go wash your mouth out. Ohio
Bro,
isn't even the armpit of the United States.
Why does
bro.
everyone want to be the
Bro, have
Texas
you
of
not
this or the
fucking
Texas of that?
No.
I wouldn't want
First
to
of
be
all,
the
have you seen
Texas of anything. I
our
wouldn't
gun
want to be
laws
Texas.
our gun
Don't
laws are almost as
forget the
lax as
Alamo.
Texas is. Ohio is actively trying
Watch your
to
mouth.
ban fucking transgender rights just like Texas is. Ohio, even though we have the fucking abortion amendment that protects abortion rights, Ohio is still actively trying to criminalize getting an abortion. Ohio's fucking politics is almost exactly the same as Texas is.
But
Okay, let me
who's
rephrase
proud of being
myself.
from Ohio?
Washington
outside of Jake
has
Paul?
all of the cool parts of Texas, but without the shitty parts of Texas. How about that?
It's got
No,
all the
so-
freedom.
Yeah, exactly. It's got all the basically the same mentality of the people who did the oil rush or the ones who did the gold rush. That same don't fuck with me, don't tell me what to do. The difference was it was cold up here, so everybody figured out they had to work together. That's the only difference. Down in Texas, it's hot and everybody's angry and they just want to shoot at each other. So they never trusted each other and they never built a proper community. And for what
Well,
it's
one of my-
worth, The biggest problem with Texas is that it's full of Texans. Texas would be so much better if it wasn't for the fucking Texans. But that's a
Man,
whole nother
We're
story.
losing
So,
them, man.
thank
Everyone's
God.
coming
Right.
here.
That's one
Yeah.
of my favorite pastimes is making sure Californians take over Texas and reminding
Hell yeah.
Texans about how the Alamo actually went down. I want them to remember the Alamo.
Okay,
Yeah,
well
yeah.
that's
Don't give
fair.
me this
That's
fake
fair.
history.
Yes, the
Duh.
true story. And for
Haters,
what it's
haters,
worth, Game
haters.
Boy,
Haters
Game
because
Boy,
they ain't us.
let me introduce you to a word called gentrification. Okay. Texas is being pushed out of being Texans and it's being introduced to a new group of people. Okay. So all of the
Twin, I've
Texans
lived
will
in
be.
Houston all my life. I know gentrification.
I'm so sorry. Fair point. Fair
Yeah,
point.
also sorry.
Yeah.
I lived
Of
there for a
all of
year
the
and I got
places
out.
in Texas, yeah, Austin is the only one you could possibly force me to go back to. So
Yeah. I do want to say,
Anyways,
Lethe, it was a moment of
That's what
pride telling
everyone
my
says who
daughter.
doesn't understand the culture.
You couldn't pay me enough to live in Texas, and I live in Ohio.
It was a
What were you
moment
gonna
of
say,
pride
No
telling
Nothing?
my daughter that the Alamo is not something to be heroified.
No, that spanking was brutal. Like Jim Bowie died. Like holy shit.
Also not the most noble
legends
of
the
causes.
West.
Nah, yeah, don't give me that bullshit. We're free here.
Boy,
Y'all should have just gave back the
USA.
cannon.
USA.
Should have just gave back the
USA.
cannon. That's all
free
I'm
to
saying.
go to public school without having religion introduced?
All I'm saying is, like, it wouldn't be terrible if, like, the people who just didn't like the law left. Like, why do you keep on coming in here and being like, no, you can't be racist? Like, just, jeez,
How
trying to
about
control us, man.
how about we just build
So
the
Game
wall?
Boy,
around
you got to
Texas?
understand there are
Yeah.
new guests and they don't understand because you don't again, the sarcasm, they can't hear it in your voice, so
What
they
sarcasm?
don't know.
Yeah, what's sarcasm?
Yeah, I was
So
about
just
to
so
come
y'all
back.
know, Chief Chief did reach out. He is apparently had some technical difficulties with an alarm clock, but I do believe he is on his way. So we will all mock him viciously once he arrives, I hope. And I hope that that also means that Doomer is going to use him in the most inappropriate ways for this debate. So real quick, I'm going to go over the prompt. No, excuse me. I'm going to go over the format again. I kind of sent it out to everybody so that y'all could see. And I also want the chatters out there in the audience to know. Has the little thing popped up yet? It has not, has it?
Not giving me credit for writing your new fucking format out for you because you didn't have it written out.
No, I didn't. Because dude, there's so many things that I have to do all at once, and I'm still trying to hold down a grown-up job. So, but hopefully someday I'll be able to focus my attention on this full time.
How
Wouldn't that be
the
swell?
hell do you have your camera working in two places, Vigi?
Fucking
Mine is
OBS,
too,
what do you
dude.
mean?
Mine is working in 3 fucking
Mine's
places.
working fine.
You not know how to
Mine's
use a
not working.
fucking virtual cam?
Yeah, are you not using a virtual cam?
No, I'm using an actual cam.
Ah, there you go. So
Bro,
running it
okay,
through
hold on.
OBS and using a virtual cam gives you the ability to have that go out to multiple different sources. So I've got it running into the OBS RAW. I've got it running into the Video Ninja. I've got it running into the Discord. Like you could have it going all of the places. And the best part is
Lethe,
you can also do it with shit like written behind you and stuff. So like because it's on your OBS, you can put whatever headers. So like you can put your name, like if you're on other people's panels and shit, stuff like that. It's pretty boss. Like what he's doing there,
Lethe,
where he's
yeah,
calling
tune
you
into
old.
the shared screen real quick. So one of the things I have is I have this scene right here. That's just camera only, right?
Mhm.
And what that is used for is with this whole little virtual camera button that if I press stop, it just does that. You click this little drop down, go to scene, click output selection, and click camera only. And then now you can, because your camera is being filtered through OBS, you can use your camera in everything else.
So as soon as you started talking about this, I started hearing like a massive amount of static that just got louder and louder over time until all the words just sounded like white noise.
I have ADHD too.
But I appreciate it.
Yeah. All of that should be working. Okay.
Hammer is home now. Idaho is more Texas than Texas, and Ohio isn't. It isn't close.
Okay, how can you be more Texas than Texas? This is targeted, all right? Like you're
That's
just
because
trying
Texas
to
is so
be
full of
something
itself,
else
buddy. No. We're just trying to put Texas in its place, which is
by
basically the
telling it
taint
that
of the
other
nation,
things are
right?
more
Like,
it.
isn't that
Well, that's
the?
Florida. No, that's actually Florida.
No, that's the testicles. Like, if you think about it, like if you're looking from a profile, if Florida is the ball sack, then Texas would be the taint
I'm convinced.
And
geographically.
there's nothing
Now, I
wrong
do
with
want you
being
all
the
to
clit
think
of
about what that
America.
means California is. Yeah.
The ball sack of America.
No, they're kind of the asshole.
There's nothing wrong being the clit of America.
No,
I like
Are
to
we the
think of
lower
America as
back?
a
What are we?
hermaphrodite.
New
Yeah,
York
Whoa,
is
it's Lux
definitely
We're the
Chief.
tramp stamp. We're the tramp stamp of America.
We're the butterfly.
Welcome. Yeah, exactly. Welcome in, Let's Chief. Glad to see you can make it, sir. We were worried
It is
about you.
only in
And
video
I'm willing
ninja.
to admit Texas isn't
You'll
perfect.
get it figured
We
out.
have
He's
Austin.
literally the guy who set all this shit up. I think he knows how it works.
I understand the sarcasm now.
I'm glad. See, he's getting caught up. Welcome to the community, my friend. Okay, so
Thank you.
now I'm gonna go through the format now that we're serious and now the Chief's here. We're also gonna go ahead and talk a little bit to the chatters out there. I don't know why it's not scrolling or rolling, but any second now there should be a thing that pops up with a link. I need to set it up, and I'm going to try to set it up while I'm doing the things here so that it will pop up over there. But we are rolling out the ability for y'all to donate, all you cheap bastards. $2 is, we do not have judges. You notice that tonight for the 3v3s, for at least this season, we're going to try this out. There's not going to be judges on the 3v3s. It's just going to be the audience vote exclusively. So that means y'all really need to fucking pay attention and you need to be ready to vote. It costs you nothing to vote. It is easy to do. You just follow the link that I'm going to put into the chat after the debates and you just tell us who you thought won. But if you want to, and since the judges aren't here to contribute questions to the Q&A session, that is on you guys, chat. If you guys have questions throughout this, you're going to be able to make a $2 donation to contribute to the questions. And if we have enough questions, we're going to hold some of those questions over into the after party. Now, that said, we're also going to add time to the after party based on, or people are able to add time to it. We're not doing the add time to the debates right now. We're going to do that for the 1v1s. But this one, there's going to be enough time. Everybody's going to get a chance to go. So we're going to hear all of the debaters engage with all of the other debaters at some point. So the way this works, we're going to have each person go back and forth with a 3-minute opening, followed by a 3-minute cross-examination, followed by another 3-minute opening, followed by a 3-minute cross-examination until everybody has gone. Now, the captains are going to choose the order. It is going to go to Doomer first on the affirmative to decide who is going to be the affirmative's first open. Once that person is done opening, then Vigilante is going to choose who is cross-examining that person. Once that person is done cross-examining, they're going to present their opening. Then we're going to kick it back to Doomer, who's going to choose who's going to cross-examine that person from the negative. There it is. See, I knew it was going to happen. So we're going to go back and forth. Once that's done, we're going to go to what I'm calling the champion phase. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and number 1 is going to go against number 3, the person that they did not interact with. You'll notice that the way that it's laid out, you're going to deal with, excuse me, inappropriate. You're going to deal with 2 of the 3 in the cross-examinations, whether you're cross-examining them or they're cross-examining you. The third person is going to be the person that you are just going to be in an open conversation with. So like I said, you are going to be in some sort of a cross play with every single person on the opposing team. After that, we're going to go around the team, same order that we went in, with each person giving a 3-minute closing. Then we're going to go to the Q&A section. Now, the judging is going to happen after the Q&A section. We're going to see how many questions come in, and we're going to kind of feel it out from there. Like I said, this part is a little bit new. It's not that many rules there, myopic. Simmer down. It'll be fine. You'll see it all follows in. Okay. It all falls into place and it all makes sense. Appreciate the follow, bud. All right. So, Chief, is everything up and running? Are you ready to go? I will take that as a no, Chief. So I guess I will keep the party rolling and I will keep talking and I will talk a little bit more about the DMZ. So what we are doing here is a good faith debate forum. We saw a need, we saw a missing thing, we saw we saw an absence of good faith interlocutors. We saw that the blood sports and the bullshit was just getting more and more, and we don't want that. So with that said, it started out just Saturdays, but we're getting enough feedback and we're getting enough reactions and we're getting enough follows that we're like, you know what, we're going to start doing it on Fridays too. In the long term, I'm not sure if we're going to do like 3v3s on Fridays and 1v1s on Saturdays or something like that. We're still kind of working all of that out. This is only the second season. We've been doing this since August, and for what it's worth, those donations that are coming in, especially once they start getting bigger, I'm going to be keeping track, and half of the donations that come in from each night are going to go to the winning debaters and the judges if there are any. Okay. So in other words, if $100 comes in, 50 of it's going to get split across the 3 people who won. Now, it's not a lot right now. I get that, but it's something. At least we're all going to try and get a little bit of grease in the bearings, right? Over time, hopefully that's going to get a little bit better and it's going to be more worthwhile for everybody. Right now, I'm not going to try and fucking Venmo you $2 if we get $10 in the night. So I'm just going to keep track. I'm going to have that visible in the Discord channel so everybody can see like where that's at. Ooh. Yeah, we could put that right next to the results. That's the other thing. Over in the Discord channel, y'all saw me put it in here earlier, but I'm going to put it in here one more time. You guys can actually, if you want to participate in the debates, just let me know. I'll send you the list of prompts that we do every week. And basically, I try to find evenly balanced people. We do our best to try to give positive feedback and help each other get better at debates. Nobody's as good as they think they are, and all of us probably could use a little bit of help. So that said, this is almost like Fight Club, except we talk about it all the fucking time. Chief, are you there yet? Jesus Christ. I'm running out of fill, buddy. All right. So once
I got
again,
it.
what?
Yeah,
Shoot.
I'm all
Talk.
good.
Thank Christ. All right. Yeah, no, yeah, I don't want to give Mike to Game Boy. So thank you again for all of your patience, everybody. Let's, Chief. Everybody else is already gone. You're the castle this time. So if you would be so kind, sir, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're about, and where people can find you.
What's up, everybody? I'm Les Chief. I am left of center, usually found debating or working behind the scenes on the DMZ and other programs with the Horseradish here. Don't stream too much anymore, but you could find me out on Arc Raiders. Hello, Raiders.
Arc Raiders. I remember when I had
You need
time
to
for
learn how
video
to play
games.
real games.
Hey. No insults, no shade for Arc Raiders. Best game that's been made.
It's funny after watching him actually stream some video games on screen and how that went.
Who, Vigi?
I was doing fine. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right. Shots fired already. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do my fun little opening speech. Everybody, those of you who have never heard this before, listen up. Those of you who've heard it way too many times, I apologize. But it is, where the fuck is it? Oh, Lord. Where is it? Come on. There we go. All right, cool. And again, this all looks better in post once I've actually done the editing. So it all fits together nicely then. All right.
Fix it
So
in
good evening,
post.
everyone. Well, ooh, what?
We'll fix it in post.
That's right. We'll fix it in post. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Demilitarized Zone. This is the one stream designed to help you feel better about engaging in hot button issues with people you disagree with. Our goal here is to teach discourse survival tactics, not just farm gotchas and dunks. We are trying to cultivate meaningful, intelligent conversations where you have to actually stop and listen to the other person, even if it is just to find the flaws in what they are saying. So attack the belief, not the believer. At least for tonight, please check your weapons at the door, take notes, act like grown-ups, and refrain from the blood sports and shit-slinging that have plagued our society for far too long. But here, our audience does get a say. So there will be a link in the chat at the end to where you can go to vote. Please limber up your voting fingers. It is free for everybody, after all, and exercise your democratic rights to decide which side made the most persuasive case, not just which one you thought was prettiest. Tonight's prompt is going to be: political compromise is beneficial for society. We've already gone through our introductions, but I'm going to do it one more time real quick, and I'm going to do it for them this time. So on the AF, we have Doomer Patriot as a captain. We have Know Nothing Attorney making his debut appearance here in the DMZ. And we have Let's Chief, the GOAT. Meanwhile, on the negative, we have... Nope. Why do I keep doing that? Damn it. God, I got to get good at this. Vigilante over here on the negative captain. His next in charge is, of course, Lethe Water Kai. And swabbing the decks for us is the ultimate troll, Game Boy 64. Now, you all know how this works. You all know the format. I assume nobody has any questions. If you do, DM me. And Doomer, who is going to be your opening debater?
No, nothing.
Know Nothing is going to be our first opening. Very, very cool. Then in that case, we're going to go ahead and kick this over to, that would be AF2. Boom. Know Nothing Attorney, sir. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I assume you can see the clock. Just so you know, again, because this is your first time here, I'm not super hard about the timeout. You'll see me raise my finger once the clock is gone past. You'll see me give you this once it's been an additional 30 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to start doing this at you just to shame you. But I'm going to let you finish your thought here because that's really what we're here for. All right. So the clock's going to start when you start to talk. Tell us what's on your mind, Know Nothing.
Okay, at first, I just want to ask everybody to remember, I may be an attorney, but I'm not a litigator, so I don't do a lot of this. But in the spirit of the DMZ, I will take up the position of meeting in the middle. Taking up the position that political compromise benefits society. And for us to even get a footing, we need to talk about what it is we are discussing. We need to know our definitions. So I imagine that the negative will take the position that benefit means maximum gains with minimum minimum time taken to do it, at no matter what the cost would be for that. I just want to make it clear that that is just an incomplete picture of what societal benefit would be. Benefit, yes, I think we can agree, would be maximized freedoms. And I think we can hopefully get to a place where we would agree that it's not just maximized freedoms, but in a structure that would pass a veil of ignorance test, where you would choose that society not knowing where you would stand in it. But as philosophers like Rawls, Sin, and Habermas would say, benefit also requires some necessary conditions for it to be sustainable. Otherwise, it isn't a benefit at all. Among those conditions would be stability and legitimacy. Without stability, then you just have a delayed conflict. And without legitimacy, then you just have resented oppression. Without these things, then any benefit you're gaining for society is just eternal strife with a bow on it. Without political compromise, we tend to see the same thing happen over and over again, and numerous studies have actually shown the process that this goes through. First, we're all kind of on equal footing at the lowest level, where material conditions affect our day-to-day lives. I mean, that'd be everybody. But when material conditions worsen to affect the most vulnerable among us, that's where the political divide comes in, and we look to our leaders. And oftentimes, leaders are political individuals who are going to just demonize the other side, take advantage of the uneducated, take advantage of the needy. And if the people, the most vulnerable, look to their leaders, and then they look to the other side to see if there's a negotiator at the table and there's nobody there, they have nobody to listen to but their political leaders. And that's when cross-class coalition disruption comes in. You have bad actors who come in to further divide the two sides. And that's where you get a retreat to echo chambers, where the individuals will shore up their defenses for their newly gained individual and group identities without the coalition being present. And from the retreat to the echo chambers, eventually what you get is you push it farther and farther apart with no compromise in the middle. You get a fracture of the horseradish. It looks like the timer reset. You get
I'm holding my finger up for you.
Gotcha. Okay. You get a fracture of the Overton window such that there are multiple overlapping Overton windows with no actual like consensus on what reasonable positions are. And if you push it far enough, there is no overlap at all. You get two completely separate Overton windows far apart from each other. At which point you get tribal calcification. You split into two sides. The two sides no longer look to the other side for compromise or debate. They look to their leaders for what to believe in without questioning it. There is no more political discourse. And from there, you get from tribal calcification to political sectarianism. And that sets the stage for political violence and authoritarianism. So I would just like to ask the other side, when they're doing their position, to make sure that it would look good when both sides were holding the same position. Thank you.
Good stuff. Yeah, so again, the clock counts down. So when it hits 0, that means that technically the 3 minutes is over. But like I said, I'm not going to jump in and interrupt you. I'm going to let you finish your thought. Usually when we have judges, the judges will kind of score down if you kind of go too far over or whatever. But again, like I said, the whole point here is to get our thoughts out. So
okay.
Vigi. Yep. It's 3 minute clock. It's all good. Vigilante, who's going to be cross-examining? No, nothing.
That would be me.
That is going to be Vigi. All right, so that's A2 versus N1. All right, A2 versus
sunk my
N1.
battleship.
So, like I said, man, I'm so excited that I got this shit worked out. I just have to do the math. I should be doing it quietly, but this way you guys still get to do the things on the fly. So 3 minutes is now going to be on the clock. No, nothing. Just so you know, this is Vigilante's opportunity to kind of cross-examine you, looking for any either. It's how he uses this time is ultimately up to him, but generally people use this time to poke holes in your arguments or to set up their own arguments for their impending opening. So 3 minutes is on the clock, Vigilante. I will start the clock when you start to talk, sir.
Yeah, so generally speaking, when is compromise useful?
When is compromise useful? I think compromise would be useful for any drive toward shifting the Overton window, I think. If you want to move the Overton window to the left, then you need to compromise with the other side on issues that you are willing to compromise on. I would think that there needs to be principled political compromise. There are things you can't budge on, but you should be seeking those things that you can budge on to keep shifting the Overton window to demonstrate the validity of your political positions.
Yeah, so why is it useful to compromise with people whose views fundamentally oppose your own?
I would say that I don't believe that there is such a thing as a overwhelming 100% mismatch of beliefs. I think that there are subordinate goals that we can all agree on. We all want to be financially fruitful. We all want educate an actual good education for our kids, for ourselves. We want to have more opportunities for ourselves and our kids. Nobody disagrees on those things. So there are things that we can find positions to agree on.
Okay, so you would say that every ideology does have a shared goal.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I think there are some things that we can't compromise on. As a lefty myself, I would say people's rights based on their immutable characteristics should never be something you budge on. But there are things that we can find.
So you would say that the shared goal would just basically be to make the world a better place, right?
I would say to maximize freedoms, and that would be how I would measure that. I would think that would make the world a better place. Yeah.
Okay, so if the shared goal is just to make the world a better place, how should we compromise with fascists? Because in their eyes, they are trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I've actually talked to multiple fascists on my stream, and if you can get them on the values that they perceive themselves as having, you can actually find some common ground. They can actually be, as much as they are very wrong on many issues, they can be reasonable people in discourse on some topics. But like with like for instance, you can find anybody on either side who wants to change how the current governmental system is set up. Like we want more transparency with our lawmakers. We want like term limits. Like these are things that we can all find common ground on, even if they are fascists.
Fair enough. We only have 10 seconds left, so.
All right. Then in that case, we'll go back. And now we're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock. And this time it's going to go to you, Vigilante. Give us your opening, sir.
Yeah, so the idea that political compromise is beneficial for society comes from the flawed understanding of two primary things: when is compromise useful, and when is compromise reasonable. Compromise is useful when a group has a shared goal, and in order to have a beneficial compromise, you have to have a reasonable middle ground where the balance of power does not shift too far in one direction or the other. The fact is, political compromise cannot meet the threshold in most cases. A great example of this is the Affordable Care Act. The ACA was an attempt to get the Republicans to agree on a slightly more cost-effective healthcare system that has only strengthened the power of healthcare companies, which should come as no surprise since it was a policy created by the Heritage Foundation. What should also come as no surprise is that despite it being a Republican policy, no Republicans voted for it. So because of the Dems seeking compromise instead of actually pushing their actual policy, we got cucked out of having a public option system. The balance of power shifted right in spite of having a progressive supermajority. This and many other policies prove a simple point. The Dems and GOP do not have a shared goal. The goal of the Dems is to improve the lives of Americans, while the goal of the GOP is to improve the lives of the technocratic elites. Let's go through some of the modern policies that don't meet this threshold. There isn't a reasonable compromise between banning and criminalizing abortion so that people that get them or people that do the procedure can be imprisoned, or the alternative, keeping abortion legal so that women can have proper health care and kids aren't born into shitty situations. There's no shared goal between these two sides. Environmental protections and climate change policy. There's no reasonable compromise because one side wants to let corporations do whatever the fuck they want, and the other side wants to actually protect the environment. Trans rights. One side wants to ban trans people from even existing in public through things like the ban here in Ohio on wearing clothes other than the gender that you're assigned, or remove the ability to vote by banning you from voting if your name doesn't match your ID, like the SAVE Act. Both of these things also affect women. Because one of the things that with the Ohio thing, if you aren't wearing clothes that match your biological sex, it's a first-degree misdemeanor or a fourth-degree misdemeanor. When we talk about how society views women's clothes, that's what, skirts and dresses? So women always have to wear skirts and dresses? And this isn't even going into all the historical compromises that led to a large number of deaths, like Hitler being appointed chancellor, the Black Army working with the Bolsheviks, or the Arusha Accords leading into the Rwanda genocide. Being well-intentioned and trying to compromise with your enemies very often will lead to disasters.
All right. And we landed that one right on the nose. All right, Vigilante. So now, Doomer, who's going to cross-examine Vigilante?
Going with Chief.
Chief. All right, everybody, give me just one split second. That's going to be what? A3 and yeah, all right. So, boom. 3 minutes is on the clock for you. Let's Chief. Use it as you see fit, sir.
How's it going, Vigi?
How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. So you mentioned trans rights and shared goals. So the right not being interested in trans rights would make that not the best example of of a ground to compromise on based on your own definition, right?
The whole point of bringing that and the other points up was bringing up points that are actively mainstream policies of the right that demonstrate the fact that we don't have shared goals.
How would we have achieved a single payer or universal option outside of ACA and the political environment that existed at the time?
Yeah, so at the time, the Democrats had a supermajority in both the Senate and the House, meaning they had a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, meaning they had 60 votes, which is exactly what the ACA got. Granted, there were a few blue dog Democrats in there, like Joe Manchin, that we would have had to strong arm into actually voting for it. But with the filibuster-proof majority, that we very easily could have passed the public option system that was Obama and the Democratic Party at the time's actual policy.
Shit, my history on this is flawed. Was that the vote where where McCain had voted and everyone gasped?
I don't. I'm
Because
not
there was
sure.
you're talking about the blue dogs. I thought that was the instant. Maybe Chad could remind us. But I thought that was the moment because obviously you said some Dems jumped ship. I thought that was the one that.
No,
that-
every single No, it wouldn't have been that one because with the ACA, every single Dem voted for the ACA, and then 0 Republicans voted.
Oh,
for
it was in 2017. It was against from having the ACA from being dismantled. That's what it was. So essentially, you know, the ACA, I think the strength from the ACA was taken out from, you know, the legislation was formed in a way that unfortunately the ACA had made it illegal for certain low quality health insurance plans to be sold, and you know the Republicans kind of worked and like stripped that away. But I don't think that because we were like desperately in a fight back and forth to keep the ACA, that means somehow if we didn't get ACA, we could have like through Dem magic created universal health care.
All
Yeah,
right. I don't feel like
so-
there was there a question there, Chief? I'll let Vigi answer if you can. If you
It
can
was a
summarize the
statement, but
question.
you could answer if you'd like to.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing about that there, it's now we're kind of getting into the territory of alternate history, but the thing is, with the ACA, one of the big reasons why a lot of Americans don't really feel that the Democratic Party has their best interest at heart would be because of the fact that we historically haven't really pushed for a universal healthcare system outside of a select few Democrats, even at the point when we had the supermajority. That's also why a lot of leftists fucking hate the Democratic Party and refuse to vote for them now, is because of that specific time period, because we could have had a because we had this Democratic supermajority, we could have had a public option and should have had a public option.
All right, good stuff. Now we're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you. Nope, sorry. We're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you, Chief. Let's see, one more over here. That's you right there. God bless America. We'll get there. 3 minutes is on the clock. I'll start the clock when you start to talk, sir. It's your turn to open.
Alrighty. So just again, to compromise is essentially you're settling a political dispute through mutual concession, meaning that both sides might have to give up a piece of what they would like in order to just get something done. Most people who aren't ideologues, who can see at least a couple of years into the future and know how our system works, recognize the importance of creating lasting legislation instead of governing through executive orders, which can be tossed out just as soon as the other side takes power. If they don't want to see that power transferred, well, they're just not interested in maintaining the experiment. That's a whole other discussion. What people on the negative side, at least from Vigi's perspective that I heard so far, it sounds like what people on that side want is not compromise, but catering from any side to their own. Compromise doesn't demand moral perfection. Not every compromise is going to reach the, the people who need it the most. There's going to be, actions that we need to take that compromise won't get us to. Okay, that's fine. But the prompt is simply that political compromise is beneficial for society. So we have to ask ourselves things like, even though it wasn't perfect, the founding fathers, for example, had to compromise just for survival of our system. It didn't produce perfection, nor was that the point, but it did produce the ability to govern, which is pretty damn important. They compromised power of large versus small states and federal versus state power. There was still a disagreement when the papers were signed, but damn it, they needed to get that done. MLK and LBJ even coordinated. So there was not just across different party and ideology compromise happening with the founding fathers, but from the movement to politicians is really important. So whether we're talking about like the Disability Rights Act or the Civil Rights Act, MLK and LBJ were working together. They were having private meetings and phone calls and directly working on these things. Missouri Compromise delayed the Civil War. Obviously, not morally perfect, but they were trying to prevent conflict. And then again, the Social Security amendments of 1983, where was across party lines with Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan. We got some more tax increases, but we got more benefits, and Social Security was prevented from becoming insolvent because of this. So every time you hear someone on the right tell you that we're running out of money, it literally cannot happen. But yeah, we'll discuss all those things here.
All right, very cool. Vigilante, who's going to cross-examine Chief?
Lethe.
Lethe. All right. Give me 1 second here. That would be, let's see, A3 and 2. Boom. All right, 3 minutes is on the clock. And when you're ready to go, sir, go ahead and start firing.
So you brought up the Missouri Compromise to prevent conflict. Was that the best course of action, in your opinion?
Best, no, but compromise by definition is not the best course of action, right? Like there's two sides that feel there's a best course of action, and compromise is for either of them to sacrifice the ideal to get something done, right?
So would you take Lincoln's stance on...
Well, do you agree with that characterization of just what compromise is?
No, absolutely not. Not in this case, at least.
Okay, can you define your definition of compromise if we can't even agree on the definition?
So to compromise on what is best for the society at large, I would say this would not be anywhere close to that. And I would think that would be what you should be compromising on, is what's best for the society or for the country that you're trying to build.
So you have an alternative history of the Missouri Compromise that would have, maintain essentially the balance of power between obviously the slave and free states at the time in order to, expand our growing union.
So
it seems like a lot of these points are just kind of like alternative histories, but if you're like specifically the Missouri Compromise is bad because of this, and this action, which was on the table, would have been much better and wasn't done for reasons Y and Z, then that makes sense to me. But if you're just like, hey, the Missouri Compromise wasn't ideal, that's baked into what compromise is in the definition, at least me and Hammer have been using so far.
Well, in this case, this is something I don't think should have been necessarily compromised on. And the compromise that was set was more deleterious to society and the nation. Would you not agree?
It was a temporary truce essentially, and it essentially delayed war for like 3 decades, is my understanding.
And so when you look to what Lincoln said during the whole process of the Civil War, do you remember what his views were on the Civil War?
You could just say what Lincoln said.
So
We're not doing
basically, he was
circuit
saying
time.
we could have just never released any slaves, and I would want to keep the Union together. But because of this compromise and everything that came afterward, it was impossible to do that.
Can you restate that again?
So he basically said that if he could keep the Union together without having to free the slaves, he would have done so. And
Okay.
that compromise, looking backward, pretty much set a powder keg on the Union itself.
Yeah, I'm not here to defend the like perfect nature of Lincoln as like the ideal like freedom fighter. Just that the states made a compromise and it prevented war for 3 decades because of it. Not that the ideal solution was achieved through compromise, because definitionally, that's not what compromise is.
All right. So we're going to go back to it's now your turn, Lethe. And whenever you are ready, sir, I will start the clock when you go.
Okay, so going directly into the Missouri Compromise, well, getting specifically into the Three-Fifths Compromise, allowing for the slave states to have more voting power than they should have had, extended slavery and extended the contention between the southern states and the northern states far longer than it ever should have, adding to the greatest conflict I would say we've had on our own soil to date. This almost ripped apart the Union, ended the experiment. So to make that compromise was something that was actually going to destroy our society as we knew it. And I mean, that's what history bears out in the end. So when you look back at multiple compromises that have happened, let's look toward the compromises that happened in Germany going up toward the 1930s. Like, I don't think everybody wanted what happened there. And what ended up going down was against most of the wishes of the people that would have kept Germany the way it was. So to compromise with something that is going to literally rip your country apart is probably one of the worst things you can do. So you can't say it's beneficial to society. There's multiple societies throughout history and throughout the planet that have been literally destroyed by making certain compromises when they are against the nature of the state or the society itself. And these are the instances you can look toward. So when you look at here in America, what happened with the Three-Fifths Compromise, extending slavery and extending the power of the South to start to get closer to the British, because that's where they were getting their money from. Essentially, they were selling the country to Britain. So they were working toward their best interest, not the country's best interest. Is that something you should be compromising with? I would say no. I wouldn't think working against the best interest of the country you live in and the country you want to build up is going to be something that should be compromised on. And so that's kind of like, I would say, for the same reason Vigi was talking about with the ACA, to compromise with the health of the country itself and the people that live in it is not a compromise you want to make. You would think that, as Know Nothing Attorney said, that you'd be making compromises to make life better for people and they have mutual benefit in this. And that's something that, oh, well, we can both say we want this. But in this case, they definitely were happy to see people be sick and not have health care than to allow for health care. So when we see outcomes knowing full well that they don't have everybody's best interest at heart and we don't have mutual benefits involved, how is there going to be a compromise and how is that good for society? And with that, I'll end my time.
Good stuff. Doomer, I guess it's gonna be you, right? So let's see. A1 and 2. You're gonna be interrogating Lethe, sir. 10 minutes is on the clock whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, I think pretty much a bulk of what you were saying kind of boiled down to like through compromise previously, like representation for people kind of got erased, and that's a really bad thing, right?
No, that's not necessarily what I'm saying.
Part of what you were saying was something to do with slave states had more voting power, like their representation was overblown in like the electorate, and that kind of like threw representation off between people, and that was a negative outcome, right?
That is definitely a negative outcome that came from it, but that's not the primary problem. The primary problem is that they were beholden to Britain because that's where they got their money from. So they were essentially selling the United States to Britain in their best interest and gaining the voting power of the slaves to do so.
Okay, well, just on like a core principle, would you say like more equalized representation between citizens is a good thing then?
In this instance, yes. But at least it would have been natural versus the unnatural way it was happening at the time.
Okay, and then follow up. If you hold political power in the system, should you refuse to compromise whatsoever with like a ideological opponent, like no matter what kind of you're compromising on? I'd probably say like not every issue is like a morality like analog of like good versus evil or something like that. Like there's a lot of like spending bills, just things that deal with resources on a federal level. Do you think just because you're ideologically opposed to someone, you should just gridlock legislation like altogether?
No, not at all.
So for certain things like spending and stuff, like actually working together and having that negotiation, making that compromise beneficial overall.
I would say as long as it doesn't go against the core tenets of the society that you're living in or is something that is going to destroy the country that you're in itself, you can make some concessions. But all the same, if it's something that you know goes against the core values of the country and is going to be problematic in the future, it's probably best not to compromise on that.
Okay, yeah, I think we can actually agree on that wholly pretty much. Would you say the bulk of like government work doesn't pertain to that specific issue though? Like the bulk of work is just like the machinations of government, like spending, uh, resource allocation, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's basic logistics and like how a country runs. There's nothing wrong with making slight compromises on that.
Okay, I think I can leave it at that then.
Sounds good.
All right. That now means that we are going back to you there, Doomer. So whenever you are ready, sir, clock will start with you.
Yeah, I probably won't take the full 3 minutes and just kind of try and get into some cross from Game Boy to further the discussion. Um, Mainly just going to get into the sole reason I kind of hold the affirmative and kind of move from there. I firmly believe in liberal values, and I think a core value to that kind of stuff is that society is better off the more that people are represented. The problem is that in a diverse society, people don't really agree on what those decisions should be. So the question becomes, how do you actually achieve broad representation in practice? And I believe that answer is political compromise. Compromise allows different groups with different priorities to shape outcomes together. It ensures that government just doesn't reflect one side fully winning, but it instead reflects a negotiated outcome that more people can live with. Without compromise, representation can kind of break down into like winner take all politics. That's where you see like institutional control being used to block legislation, reshape outcomes in extreme ways. Stuff like McConnell's like shaping Supreme Court picks, just like log jamming legislation just because he doesn't want a certain political ideology to gain kind of power. So my position is pretty simple. Political compromise is beneficial because it turns representation from an idea into a functional reality for our liberal democracy.
Right. Game Boy. Now going to be your turn to cross-examine. Let's see. That is N3 and A1. Boom. All right. 3 minutes is on the clock, sir. Go ahead and start when you're ready. If you're talking, you're muted, Game Boy. Game Boy? Can anybody else hear him?
I cannot hear
Nope.
him, but I can channel his spirit.
He does seem to be still muted, though. Hey, he's not muted anymore. Welcome back, Game Boy. 3 minutes is on the clock for cross-examination. Start when you're ready, sir. Lord of mercy. Apparently he is having technical issues, so we are going to sit here in a holding pattern. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not, it doesn't seem like he's just afraid of Doomer. So we'll go ahead and kick
You're
it
letting
back
me
to
catch my breath. It's a mistake.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, for what it's worth, real quick, this does give me a chance. Know nothing. So, whenever you listen to Game Boy's opening, remember to be paying attention because you are going to be, it wraps around. You're going to cross examine Game Boy when it's done. Cool, cool, cool. Just making sure you understood. All right. Are you back yet, Game Boy?
Tall and tan and young and lovely. The girl from me.
I was about to say, do I play a song from the person he has as his picture?
Probably
I'm
not.
confused.
You could dive
Yeah,
once
right.
a little bit.
We are experiencing minor technical difficulties, everybody. I appreciate your patience. I will also take this opportunity to remind everybody that once our openings and cross are going to be done, we're going to go to our champion phase where the two debaters who have not, each set of two debaters who have not faced each other yet, are going to have 5 minutes together in a room alone. No, that's a different game. Just remember to send in some questions. I'm going to say there is the thing that keeps rolling up that you can click and donate, but between you guys and me, if
Figured
you
it
just
out.
put a question in here,
Right?
welcome
Yep.
I
in.
think I hear him.
I will just prioritize the ones who donate since we're still getting all that started. So, welcome back, Game Boy. 3 minutes is on the clock, sir, for your cross examination of Doomer. Start it when you're ready, sir.
If it's a political compromise, what position of power are the people in?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
We restart the clock.
I wasn't sure if you're.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I started
tried.
the clock over again. We'll let him get himself sorted out. It's okay. Again, we'll cut all this shit out in post. So
No one will
no,
know.
unfortunately, we do not get to skip, Donnie. We do not get to skip.
Someone
Yeah,
about
okay,
the
so
beatbox.
oh, that's what it sounded like. I was going to say I will take musical accompaniment. That is not a problem for me.
I tried Girl from Ipanema, but I'm not confident.
Well,
My
no nothing
opening was
attorney
just
was
that
doing
good.
his opening. No nothing attorney's opening had me thinking of DMX lyrics.
Which part?
I'm
Y'all
gonna be
been eating
completely
long enough
honest.
now. Stop being greedy. Keep it real, partner.
I
All
Give
right.
to the needy.
to the
This is
greedy.
this is where Game Boy's gonna
Figured it
tell us he
out
didn't listen.
finally.
Oh, all right.
I
We're starting the
not.
did
clock
not
over.
hear Doomer at all.
Nope, that's fine. But you got it now. You figured it out. Everything's sorted.
Yeah.
Doomer, can you hear? Can
It
you hear?
was an internet issue.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, cool. Now we're gonna try this over again. 3 minutes is on the clock. Start your question over, Game Boy, whenever you're ready.
What position of power are the people in when you have political compromise?
So, like, what power are the people in political compromise?
Yes.
The power for the people would be like what they're for us are like elected representatives and how they cast their votes.
For
So that would
us.
be them at like the negotiating tables, working on whatnot.
What power do me and you have if there's political compromise happening in the government?
With a vote on the next election, or like being outspoken support for or against our candidates, our own voice, I guess, to a certain extent.
Okay, how are liberal ideas progressed through political compromise with your opposition?
I would say that just the process of political compromise is a liberal ideal in my eyes.
how does them compromising with their opposition further progress what the people's actually believe? Say it's not a
Well, in the
democracy or
end,
anything like that.
if everyone's just a bad actor, like you don't, that's on you for electing a bad actor, I guess. Just
Well, say
just for
you
being
have a
bad.
bureaucracy, for example, which you don't vote in the population. How is political compromise beneficial for that population?
So, because you're phrase in a bureaucracy without what?
Without without representation through a democratic process, how does political compromise benefit that system or society?
I don't think I'm following your question. Could you like give an example of like what it would look like real day? Like what you
A
mean?
bureaucracy, like it literally any case, like say you're in the Department of Education and you don't elect certain representatives. Okay, well, how does them compromising with other people with opposing views, how does that benefit the society?
Maybe I'm just not following your question. You're acting like how a person within the Department of Education can compromise with someone
It
and how that
there's
benefits.
opposing views within a bureaucracy in which there is no representation through a democratic process. How does them compromising with their opposition and their opposing values, how does that benefit the society in which they govern over? Take Department of Education out of it, just any bureaucracy.
Well, I'd need like an actual example of like what you mean in our society. Like if you're talking about the Department of Education, the
The
people
prompt
still
doesn't
hold the
say our
power, and
society.
who actually appoints those people to those positions. Those are done. It's done through a system of governance, and like there is a civic process you can actually go look at and follow to see how those positions are appointed and whatnot. So there is still political power, whatnot, and voting for us there. There's, I guess I'm just not following your question as much.
It's all right. Time's up, anyways. So I feel like you answered it. So we're gonna go over and go over to you now, Game Boy. 3 minutes is on the clock for your opening surge. Start it when you're ready.
Well, the prompt says political compromise is beneficial for society. It does not say political compromise is beneficial for our society. So if you were given the case where, of course, you have like the Overton window has been brought up, or, well, let's look how it benefits our political system and our society right now. I don't see how that at all answers the prompt. It just says, well, political compromise is beneficial for America. So to devoid any, say, republic system, and you go into China, where the people are represented less and less. There's opposition within a party. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I don't want to gouge about that specifically. But if there's opposition within the party and the people have no say over which way that party leans, how is it beneficial for them to have unity among thought within that party and bureaucracy outside of, okay, well, we're unified? That's kind of what I want to get at more than just, well, the people and who they represent, them being unified, them compromising, this is beneficial. You're looking at it from a very American point of view and not answering what the prompt says. Why is that beneficial, particularly for any society? I think it is fair to say, okay, well, let's look at America. Let's see how political compromise has impacted us as a nation. But as examples, that's what my partners have been doing. They're saying, well, look at how we've compromised in the past. Look at these potential compromises we could make. These are not beneficial. Okay, well, you can easily bring up, okay, well, look at these compromises. Look how this is beneficial. Look how they positively affect this nation. But that does not answer the prompt wholesome. You need to further build points on why unity among opposing parties actually benefits any nation or society rather than just, well, look at how it benefits our representative government. Does that actually answer the parts of our government that don't have representation? Does that actually answer the parts where, okay, what about federalism? Not every place has federalism, not every place has a democracy. You need to answer how that actually benefits any society in most cases. Look at it as a generalized prompt rather than how it actually impacts America in the United States. I can see the rest of my.
Good stuff. So now we're going to kick this over to, that'd be A2 in 3. Boom.
Had
So,
to prove myself
yeah.
after the internet.
No, nothing. 3 minutes is on the clock for you to cross-examine the Game Boy. Time is really yours to use as you see fit. Poke holes, set up arguments, do as you like. I'll start when you start.
All right, Game Boy. What is the end state in your framework if political compromise is removed entirely? What does that end state look like?
Who said we'd remove political compromise?
Why would you have it?
Well, just because political compromise can have a negative effect on society doesn't mean that it's just absolutely absent from any society. Like, I forgot who said it. It could have been you. But, like, we have a lot in common when it comes to our values that may be a subconscious compromise, but it isn't us compromising our values. So, I mean, like, it's not like there's no unity in a government where we can't compromise our values, you know?
But political compromise is a net negative?
I would say in cases where, like, I think you brought the ideals of if I have this very, like, communist worldview where I think capitalism is inherently evil and I think that we need to liberate the workers, and you're uh, anarcho-capitalist. I don't think we should meet in the middle. I don't think that makes any sense. But say you're an anarcho-capitalist and I'm a general anarchist. I have no economic worldview. We can still unify on, hey, we don't like Joe Biden, we don't like Donald Trump, and we would still be unified on a ground-based worldview. Again, using America as an example because that's what we know the best. Our two political parties do that all the time because I don't know that many communists or anarchists in the Democratic Party, and I don't
So,
think they're going to
Game Boy,
argue too much when it.
do I
Trump,
understand
yeah?
that what you're proposing is a mix of holding steadfast on specific values, but political compromise on others?
Not political compromise, but we can still unify under shared values, like you.
So there is no political compromise in your end state?
Again, like, I'm trying not to use that word because compromise would mean compromising your ideals. Like, if you have a definition of compromise in which that includes unity over shared ideals, you can get into that. But I think you would be pushing what it would mean, you know?
Can you compromise on your ideals for the long-term attainment of your ideals without abandoning those ideals?
The fuck? Then you're not abandoning your ideals.
Yeah,
You
I'd
just
agree.
got a two-step plan. Like, that you're taking it from let's do it today to let's do it tomorrow. Like, that's not compromising your ideals.
All right. That's actually the end of that. So we got through the opens and we got through the crosses, and it just so happens that the people who haven't faced each other yet are sitting up above each other, and so that's kind of cool, or below each other as the case may be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock. We're going to have open conversation. This is just free debate between the two people. This is going to first go to the Doomer Patriot and Vigilante. The two captains are going to start this party off. After that, Know Nothing Attorney and Leith, you're going to face off. And then bringing it home, Let's Chief is going to go against Game Boy. Then we're going to go to our closing arguments, and then we will go to that Q&A section. So 5 minutes is going to be on the clock now. The two captains, if you gentlemen are ready, then boom. Go ahead and get started, gentlemen.
Yeah, so I'll ask you one of the same questions I used in my cross-ex. Why is it useful to compromise with those who are fundamentally opposed to your beliefs?
It's not always useful. I'd say one of the things I would say about compromise is sometimes you compromise by not compromising, even. Yeah, I think we've even said on our side between me, Know Nothing, I think echoed it. I think I agreed with Lethe on it. Sometimes if it's against kind of like your core principles, that's not something that you would want to budge on or compromise. But that's also a very small percentage of work that's done in the government. The bulk of other things still need to get done. People need to negotiate on federal resources, and if you logjam all that, it's a net negative rather than a positive to society.
Yeah. So, what is the shared goal between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party?
On like the most broad basis is just moving the country forward.
How is the Republican goal to move the country forward when a lot of their current policies is to move the country backwards and strip away people's rights and
Well, not every
yeah.
bill is about that. I mean, take the OMBB or whatever you want to call it, the one big beautiful bill. Not everyone agrees on that, but at the end of the day, people ended up negotiating on it, and we got actual some kind of concessions. People's subsidies got extended. Is that a net negative or a net positive that people got subsidies extended, but the OMBB got passed?
Uh, what subsidies got extended with the one big beautiful bill? I've done a lot of research in the big beautiful bill, and it's because I had a debate on it. Fucking what is still
It might have
debated.
been part of the shutdowns, but the subsidies got extended for ACA for some, I think all states actually.
Okay, yeah, you're thinking of the shutdown. That was, yeah, I mean that was to an extent a compromise. But that happened after they gutted the majority of the ACA subsidies in the one big beautiful bill. You know what else they did in the one big beautiful bill? They got rid of almost every single environmental protection that was established under the Biden administration.
Would it have been better if they compromised with the Democrats on that bill to include better things? Or should they have just wielded their power against them and passed it anyways?
I don't think there would have been any viable compromise because, like I said in my opening,
Would it have been better? I'm not
Florida,
saying would there. I'm saying would it have been better if there was?
not necessarily, no. I don't,
So it's better
because I
that
don't,
as it passed as it is than if they would have compromise and we got actual like meaningful change, you would be against that rather than just harm to the American people because you want them to see the mistake of their ways or whatnot.
I don't think there's any compromise that could have been made that would have
I'm not
actually,
asking that. I'm saying
uh,
if they made it better through compromise, you would rather them pass it with the harm done to the American people than to have any meaningful compromise.
what are some ways that they could have compromised in order to make it better?
If they just folded completely to the Dems, all the demands, I'm not sure what they were, but I'm saying if they compromised and folded to that would have been better or worse.
I mean, the Dems did compromise in order to get it passed because the Republicans don't have a filibuster-proof majority. They had to do some level of compromise in order to get it passed. And it passed the way that it is, where it removed all of those environmental protections. It gutted the ACA.
But you're saying there
It
was no
also
compromise. I'm
gutted
saying
food stamps.
if they bowed to every compromise that was put forward, you're saying that would still be not as good to you than passing it as it is now without any kind of compromise. You said earlier there was no compromise in that.
There was no compromise on a lot of things within the big beautiful bill, which are a lot of the worst things that happened in the big beautiful bill. There was no compromise, but there was a lot of compromise done because they had to compromise in order to get it passed. And despite the fact that there was not a
What
whole
was
lot
the
of
concessions?
compromise, I would have to look that up. I don't know them off the top of my head.
When was your
I
discussion
think there
on
was
it?
a lot of It was like back when the bill was actually getting passed. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I'm curious on the concessions. I thought the only thing might have been the ACA subsidies, but even that's kind of a stretch for what did end up getting passed. But I would say
No, it was like it was
over,
mostly on like agricultural funding and things like that.
but overall as a premise, if they bowed down to the compromises put forward and it passed like 70% of the House or whatnot, had even more Democrat support, that would be bad to you than just no compromise whatsoever. You would much rather there be no compromise than compromise, even if it was a benefit.
It would heavily have to depend on what the compromise is, because even like disregarding the getting rid of the environmental regulations, some of the worst things that happened in the bill were the gutting of the ACA. Specifically, the way that they gutted the ACA in that bill was to in such a way that it removes funding from hospitals whenever they treat somebody who goes to the ER. So one of the things that the ACA did was what effectively makes it so that way the government funds ERs and stuff whenever somebody who doesn't have insurance goes into the ER, which what that will end up doing long term is completely gut hospitals that are in rural areas. Another thing that they did that was in the Big Beautiful Bill, that is one of the worst things that was done, is they completely gutted and removed almost a large chunk of the funding from food stamps. And that both of those things are something that the Republican Party would not have compromised on, because that has been part of the Republican Party's platform for the past fucking like 2 decades.
Yeah, I can agree with most of everything that you said there, but at the end, I'll just echo and kind of pigtail on it. If they did compromise on those things like food stamps, that would have been a benefit, correct? In that situation, compromise would have been a benefit to society, and they didn't compromise, so it wasn't a benefit.
It would have lessened the harm. It wouldn't have been a benefit. It still would have been a net negative, but it would have lessened the harm.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I actually gave y'all a couple extra minutes because y'all were doing great, and fuck, you're the captains. I'm actually wondering, with this new format, do we want to go 10 minutes on the champion rounds? I'm asking you guys now, because we can give you 3 more minutes to keep going with the 2 of y'all. We can move on for 5s. What do you guys think? I'm asking.
I feel like
I
we're on
would
the
love 10.
verge of beating dead horse.
I'm gonna where it was okay. So what did you say? No, nothing.
I said I would love 10.
Yeah.
I felt 5 was great, and Vigi was just reeling and coping, and it would have been better to have pulled the rug right out from under him, and making a choice to decide to extend it to allow him to get his feet back under it is altering the course of the debate fundamentally. So whatever it is, lock it in.
All right. Cheers. So let's go with.
Sorry, Vigi.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I would. My opinion would basically be like, if there's like more that people, it's like very obvious that there's more to say. The extent.
That's
like,
kind of the
by
thing,
3 to
was
5
I
minutes.
added the 2 minutes there at the end because it felt like you guys were still breaking new ground, but maybe I misheard. So in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock. I used to be able to add to the cross, so I'm gonna keep that ability. And instead, I will just decide on the fly if I want to add time to it. And sorry, Chief, but sometimes it seems like the conversation is still cooking, so I don't want to interrupt. So we're gonna now kick it over to Lethe and Know Nothing Attorney. I've got 5 minutes base on the clock. Like I said, if y'all are still going at 5 minutes, I'm just gonna add time without even telling y'all. Kick it off, gentlemen. Pick up where they left off.
My G, how good of a compromise? How many neo-Nazis is enough neo-Nazis? Like, how many is too many in a compromise?
How many neo-Nazis is too much to be involved in the compromise? Well, I think
To be allowed in that compromise.
Well, I think at that point you have a situation that would be the type of situation that y'all are pulling for, which would be one party that has enough power to just do whatever they want, and they wouldn't be compromising. I don't expect neo-Nazis to compromise when it comes to that much political weight. If you don't mind, I think you understand my perspective. I'm not sure I understand yours. Can I put the same question you did put to Game Boy? What would your end state look like without any political compromise?
It would look like what the core values of the country itself or the society would want.
How do you decide that?
You decide that based on what literally the founding of and the hope of the progression of that society would be.
So would that be implemented by force against those that disagree?
No, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. And there's going to be situations where one side is going to take the country or the society in a different direction than what those values are. And that's what we actually need to fix. And when one particular group wants to do that, compromising with them just keeps putting you back further and further. It's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 3 steps back, 1 step forward kind of situation when you keep making compromises like that.
Right. So they would think that they were taking the country backwards.
In some cases, yes, they know they're taking the country backwards because that's what they want.
Make America great again. I guess so. So it would just be one political perspective at a time, taking control and taking the country in the direction that it wants to go in.
I mean, if we could have 2 parties that are saying, hey, the core values of this country are this, we think this best benefits, and we think that best benefits, like for either side. And it's actually a benefit, but we think, one thing should happen now, one thing should happen later. I would think that would be something that could be compromised on. But we're working under an entirely different situation in a lot of countries at this point, where you have fascism coming up, you have totalitarian governments coming up. Whatever is going to lead you in the direction of that should not be compromised with.
Well, studies seem to show that the most effective way of depolarizing 2 sides is through the finding of superordinate goals between the 2 sides, not through further pushing them apart. But you brought up the 3/5 compromise. Can I ask? I'm going there on my side of things.
Please do. Please do.
Do you imagine the Constitution would have been written differently if the then slaves had participated in its drafting?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Then I would think that the side that's pulling for one side to be able to make its decisions without the input of the other side would support the idea of having everyone involved at the table if they were the ones fighting against the 3/5 compromise.
I don't know that I understand what you're saying.
So things would have been different if the slaves had been at the table allowed to compromise.
Yeah, but that wasn't part of the 3/5 compromise. It wasn't to allow the slaves to be able to vote.
But it should have been, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because that's part of the core tenets of America is that all men are created equal, which would allow for the slaves to have some voting power.
But this is coming from the side that is saying that one side should be able to dictate without taking the input from the other.
If one side is trying to make sure that all men are not created equal, yes, I would say that compromising with them would not be in the best interest of that Constitution.
All right.
If that tracks.
Do you think the current state of American politics is sustainable?
As it's going? No, absolutely not.
And how do you propose we fix it?
We fix it by, one, removing the cancer that's currently afflicting the country. That would be the first step. And once you remove that cancer, trying to take steps to roll back what the cancer damaged would be the next thing to do.
Do you need buy-in from the other side to roll back?
It would be helpful, but usually it's not going to be the case.
Would it be helpful? Is that a benefit?
Would think it would be helpful, but they're not going to vote in that direction. So you would have to compromise with them and let them keep some of the horrible things that they want, which would be marginalizing people, which would be not holding people accountable to crimes, like releasing the J6ers. Like these are things that that side would want. I don't think you should compromise on that.
Oh, okay. We got more time. So now I feel like we're just right back to the same issue. Like are we bringing in the other side to help us roll back the damage done or not?
I don't think it's possible.
Then
If
can
you
we roll
could,
it
and if
back?
they could, yes.
How so?
So, like what Vigi was saying about the ACA, the Democrats had a supermajority to get the ACA passed. So this was against the will of the other party. Unfortunately, the party that had the supermajority compromised and screwed the pooch in the process of baking the cake. And this is the cake we ended up with, and nobody's happy with this cake.
Did they compromise or did they fail to negotiate? Which one was the problem?
I would say they compromised, which was also a failure to properly negotiate, which would have been compromising less.
Do you feel like somebody could have properly negotiated that deal?
I mean, it's possible in the realm of possibility, like in the realm of anything imagined. Yes, there is probably somebody that could have negotiated that properly.
So if somebody had negotiated that properly and they had successfully compromised, would they have gotten a benefit?
I would say there would have been no compromise because the compromise was to not have the outcome that everybody wanted, and to not compromise would have gotten everybody the thing that they didn't want anybody to have.
It sounds like we're back to the same failure to negotiate.
Well,
Would have
It
gotten
does
nowhere.
sort of
thing would
sound that
be-
way. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I added the same 2 minutes to y'all, and you did sort of circle back to the same starting point. So seems like the perfect point to jump in. That said, I am now convinced 5 minutes is just not long enough, but I should probably keep it at 5 minutes just in case two people suck and I don't want to have to like take time away from them and be like, okay, y'all just stop. But I'm going to probably add the time unless you guys suck. So just assume that it's probably going to be there. I'm going to kick this now over to number 3. Let's Chief, you and Game Boy. I'm putting 5 minutes on the clock for now. Y'all go ahead and get us started, please.
You hear Game Boy, first of all. Well, okay. I see your mic
Are
lighting
you?
up. Are you
Are
here,
you
Game Boy?
kidding?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
Okay. Go ahead.
Because
I know
I was
you. I know
talking
that you.
quietly, but not that quiet.
Yeah, no. I know that you're not necessarily on the same political side as them, so you're not necessarily.
Oh yeah, this is awkward as hell.
You know what I
just
mean?
messaging people
But
about it.
that's all right. Like just talking about that. I think like at the time, or maybe now even, like the popularity of like a universal healthcare or like a public option might be at like 60%, right? Where like basically it's not like it was never overwhelmingly the case that universal healthcare was the like the popular option, like other than like some of the Dems were about it during like the age of Bernie, progressives were about it, but as far as like a number of representatives that supported like a public option or universal health care, that was probably like less than a dozen, I bet, right?
I don't know numbers, probably.
Yeah, so like what we're hearing from the people before us is that they should have not compromised and done a thing that was apparently not that popular, when in reality the actual argument is if you wanted that universal healthcare or public option, that you'd be making an inter-party compromise with the progressives and saying, you know what, this is the time for it. We have like the ball is rolling down the hill. There's not going to be a time like right now. Like the idea doesn't have the energy. We've never seen it have the energy that it does now. Like, let's push this snowball down the hill and get like a public option like on the books. Like that would have been the compromise to make with the progressives to do the thing that your debate partners are saying we should have just like have ham-fisted it basically.
Well, can I ask you this? Do you
You
believe
sure
in universal
can.
healthcare?
Do I believe in it? Sure. Well, yeah.
And do you think it would be a moral good for society?
It would be good.
Then say you have a very dominant party, may not be the most popular party,
Sure.
but in this hypothetical, they are able to push for universal healthcare while other parties that are in opposition of them do not get any compromise. They're still headstrong. We don't like universal healthcare. But this party, Iron Fist, you could say, pushes the right buttons and gets universal healthcare in. And this helps all these people get healthcare that couldn't get healthcare before, helps the poor. And
Yeah, so
you're
you're saying
saying
they
this is
achieved
a
it
bad thing
without
because there was no.
political. Yeah. So not all good things are political compromise or achieved through political compromise. It's just saying broadly,
Well, I think
net
that's what
positive
my
political
debate
compromise
partners.
is beneficial for society. So
Well, I think
it'd be fine, but if you look at it through the lens of compromise, how the government actually works, and not through just like I want this thing, give me my toy, give me my universal health care. Instead of just doing that, you're like, oh, actually, fuck, if the Democrats would have compromised and leaned into the beliefs of the progressive caucus there, as small and not like as popular as it was, like people did believe in it, like largely, like I feel like it would have like achieved a positive thing, but we could have achieved the thing that they're telling us did not require political compromise. We could have done that thing through
but you're
political
making bold
compromise, and
accusations
it
that
would have been
yeah.
hold on, it would have been more beneficial because it would have been more lasting. Instead of saying this niche small group that wasn't that popular pushed this thing through, we actually cooperated in a way that goes beyond our own ideals to achieve something that we know is good for people. That would be the ultimate like example of compromise.
I think at that rate, though, you are making assumptions about how much that would actually push towards the goal that you're trying
Well,
to
we
say
heard
would
all
happen.
sorts of alternative histories today, so I don't think it's too far like out of line
Yeah,
to
but
be
you're
honest.
also saying this to
But we
me,
could take it
and
back
you're
to like
getting the
something that
one
actually
person who
happened.
can't
So,
defend that to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to talk to you about this and speak on behalf of what my debate partners are saying." But
well,
I'm
I'm just seeing if you could, as of the third on their debate team, help bring their
no, but
argument
you
home, and
also
it's
have
okay
interrupted me every
if
time
it's.
I've said something. I think that they're coming from the perspective of if this compromise was to take place, this would not actually benefit the parties that you think it would benefit. You're taking this minority group with this, like you said, fringe idea, and you want them to contribute to a larger party that does not hold this ideal, and you think that that larger party won't just consume that smaller fringe group into their caucus to benefit themselves and themselves only. It seems like you're making an assumption about how much sway the progressives actually could have had
No,
compared to the
the
larger
progressives are
Democratic
used
Party.
by the broad Democrats broadly to achieve their. Of course, there are the different like caucuses
Yeah,
are
and
used in that way.
you agree with that, but yet you're still going on about, well, if we made this compromise, it would have further benefited their goals when that hasn't been the case ever. Look how they continue to screw Bernie, like you said. Like it doesn't make sense to compromise in that case if you are still putting yourself not against the wave of pointing this view out more and more,
I
but making
agree that
yourself
it
just seem like another Democrat.
I agree that it doesn't make sense, and that's why it didn't happen. It didn't make sense for the Democrats to cave towards the small fringe party. I'm just saying the same thing could have been achieved through compromise rather than them like stomping their feet. Nobody, but we could go back to like the real life example instead of going through like if there was like an alternative history. Something that I did bring up is that compromise isn't always across party lines. We had talked about just now with the healthcare about ideological compromise within parties, but there's also movement to politicians, which I think kind of maybe touches on your like China talking point. But like if we could go back, like we talked about like, or I mentioned in my opening, MLK and LBJ. So they were having like private meetings and like phone calls to like align their efforts. Like I feel like, oh, what's happening right now? I'm getting a weird pop-up. But anyway,
I'm also getting weird looks from Radish. I don't know what's
oh,
happening.
timer.
Because the timer's up. It's all good. I was gonna let Chief finish his thought there. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, all good. I was just saying that with MLK and LBJ, like that was,
Shit, I wanted to
compromise
address
between
that too.
movement and politics. I feel like give Game Boy the last word on this then. From movement to politicians, like they were having private meetings and phone calls to like align their efforts. Like a lot of us feel like movements should be representative of the people they represent. Like it shouldn't just be like LBJ and, a bunch of Democrat whites making the Civil Rights Act. We should like see how people like are actually like affected and how the activists feel about these things. So MLK and LBJ were having phone calls to align their efforts. Like they even did like a march when the Kennedy, I think, introduced this. The law initially in 1963, but they were like directly communicating and directing action and public pressure to like work on this legislation. I think that's a great example of movement to politician compromise for an idea that wasn't super popular at the time.
And did you have something
And
you
I
wanted
would,
to respond to that? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I would say that in the case of MLK and LBJ, not all political compromise, like just because it's two different ideological groups, say like a communist and a monarchist, or however far you would put it, if they agree on similar principles or ideas and want to advance that idea through a particular policy, I can find someone who I have strict opposition with in parties or any such way. But if you say, okay, instead of splitting it Democrat and Republican, I split it pro Israel and pro Palestine, well, then the parties change drastically. You have Thomas Massey collaborating with all these Democrats, but that's just because you changed what actual group he was a part of. And I think you have a similar connection between MLK and LBJ. If you change them from advocate and a politician and you go from segregationist to non-segregationist, it's no longer compromise. It's just finding a way to be practical about actually putting a policy in hand. What I think we're describing as compromise in this sense is compromising on your ideals and principles to get just any sort of motion within power or power structure, which I think is a totally different interpretation that I think you have differed with Lethe on. But I'll concede because we're not.
All right, yeah. We are a little bit past the time, but that's all right. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and move to our closings. After we're done with the closings, we're going to go to the Q&A section. We have already gotten one question. This is real quick, just so everybody knows out there in the chat. If you guys click that little link, throw us $2. Half the proceeds go to the winning team. Throw a question into the mix. I'm going to pose those questions. If it's a question for one specific person, say so. If it's a question for each of them or for all of them, let me know. We're going to get to that as soon as everybody's done with their closings. Know nothing. Since you were the one who started the party, you also are going to be the one to go first on the last, I guess would be the way to say this. So if you are ready, I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for you now, sir. Your closing thoughts based on what you've heard so far. I'll start when you start.
All right, I think one question makes everything clear here, and that is, what do they think the end state would be without political compromise? And I think that they're standing on moral clarity, but I think that question demonstrates that moral clarity is nice in your head, but it doesn't function out here. Political compromise is entirely indispensable for a free society. And I think each of the interlocutors on the negative side proved that. Game Boy couldn't dispense with political compromise, ended up with a 50-50 idea that he wavered on as to whether we were going to have political compromise and on some things and maybe not on others. Vigi even said to Doomer at one point, it would depend on what the benefit is, as to whether or not the compromise would be beneficial. And Lethe even said compromise would be helpful, but the other side won't do it. And I think that's the thing that rings constantly through this is failures of compromise don't help us. But if we can compromise, it does. So it falls to negotiators who fail that is the problem. I think Lethe even helped me take it a step farther. The only alternative to political compromise is paternalistic oppression. It's one side deciding what's in the other's best interest without their input. And let's not forget that the southern states were making the argument that they knew what was best. If you just ramrod your opinions down to the other side's throat, you are not going to get any kind of lasting benefit. You may have your win for a little while, but a benefit without stability and without legitimacy does not last. I think we got off a little track too, talking strictly about political parties. If we look at the Overton window, everyone is constantly making political compromise in moving their positions back and forth. It is a societal idea of where we're moving our ideas. And we need to compromise so that we can put some ideas into practice so that our political opposition can see that those things in practice work. And as a leftist, I believe these things work. I think data shows it. And so I think we need to ease people into it, because when you ask people if they want universal health care, if you phrase it in the right way, it's always yes. As long as you don't phrase it in a politically obvious way. So all you have to do is inch things bit by bit. And the research shows that, well, first off, we can't sustain the current political environment we're in. Lack of compromise is how we got here, and not putting the blame on the left. The right was staunchly averse to compromise. But the only way to bring it back together is through working together, compromise. Marital counseling has proven to work on depolarizing and finding superordinate goals. Thank you.
All right. He landed it on the button this time, kids. He figured it out. He learned how it works, and he said, you're not going to give me like that again. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go over to you, Vigilante. 3 minutes is on the clock for you now, sir. Bring it home.
Yeah. So it was mentioned that material conditions are getting worse. I would absolutely agree the material conditions are getting worse. I would heavily disagree on how we got here, though. Compromise is how we got here. The Democrats constantly being willing to compromise with a side that is fundamentally opposed to the beliefs of the Democratic Party, allowing the country to backslide and allowing the country's Overton window to shift is how we got here. Compromise is what put us in the situation that we are currently in. Let's Chief kept talking about how it wasn't politically advantageous for us to push for a public option because it didn't have a majority of support at the time. He's fucking wrong. I actually looked it up while he was saying that. 296 out of 435 members of Congress supported a public option in 2010. And on the opinion of actual Americans, in 2010, yes, now it's 60+%. Back then, it wasn't too far off. It was 80%. And then, so this is the flaw of the idea that the people's power is in our representatives. The representatives, generally speaking, don't care about what we want. We see this mostly with the Republican Party, but we also see it with the Democratic Party as well. Because the Democratic Party's ideals is the compromise for compromise sake bullshit that Doomer put forth. The idea that compromise is always beneficial because it is compromise. It's not always beneficial, especially when the other side has a wildly different goal from what your own is, which is the entire point of what we're having this conversation for, and why the neg is on the side that it is. A great example of this is, sorry, it's not beneficial to compromise when we are still sliding backwards. Stop compromising to slide backwards a little bit at a time is still sliding fucking backwards. It does nothing but shift the Overton window. And that's because the idea that the other side cares about things being beneficial if they work doesn't exist. The Republican Party doesn't care. We can tell this by the fact that they have been trying to remove food stamps for the longest fucking time. They've been trying to remove the ACA for the longest fucking time, and they've been trying to remove Social Security for the longest fucking time. Just because sometimes we have the same goal doesn't mean it's beneficial to compromise. I will see the rest of my time.
All right. Good stuff. Strong words in there, I think. So we're going to go ahead and kick this over now to Let's Chief. Nope. Yeah, hey, we actually got cammed up for this for the closing. All right. 3 minutes is on the clock for your closing, Chief. Go ahead and when you're ready, sir.
All right. I don't have much. Definitely won't use a lot of time here. Vigilante told us from the start that compromise has to be useful and reasonable. But all we've heard from their side today is that having two sides with the most extreme oppositional ideals makes a bad environment from compromise. Fortunately for us, that is not the prompt here today. Going back to the ACA was actually started by Romney on the right. It was called Romney Care. And guess what? The public option was actually floated at the time. Senator Joe Lieberman threatened to filibuster the bill if it included a government-run insurance option. I'll say it again. Joe Lieberman threatened to filibuster the bill if it included a government-run insurance option. So we almost got anything. And as a result of compromise, we ended up with the ACA, and millions of people had coverage that they didn't have before. Again, compromise could be from movement to politicians, as we saw with MLK to LBJ. There could be within party compromise that, could have maybe provided a public option during that trying time in 2010, had it not been threatened to be, filibustered altogether. And there could also be cross-party compromise, which we see all the time in the regular runnings of business with just like budgetary bills that are passed. Biden got a couple like infrastructure bills passed and things like that. There goes my cat's feeder. But basically, ACA was a compromise from the beginning. It was threatened to be filibustered because of the public option. Compromise does have to be useful and reasonable, and that means sometimes on fringe issues where there is no room for compromise, you can't compromise there. But does that mean compromise is not beneficial for society? Sure doesn't. That's my time.
All right. Now we're going over to you, Lethe. Lethe, 3 minutes is on the clock for you, sir. Close it down.
Okay, so compromise has to be useful and reasonable, but the two sides in the extreme make a bad environment for compromise. You keep bringing up MLK and LBJ. Their opinions or what they wanted was not vastly apart from what the core vision was. So both wanted to get a civil rights bill going based on what Kennedy had wanted beforehand. So the idea that they were making compromises on something that they wanted already versus having a compromise about something one side wants and the other side doesn't want isn't what was going on in this case. So it's kind of a misrepresentation that it's putting up a false dichotomy of what's going on here. So in the instance that both sides want something that is beneficial for the country, which would be civil rights, to compromise on how to get that done is not something that's a net negative. It is beneficial in general on that point. But if you're dealing with a situation where you're compromising to allow a deleterious situation to come upon the state and the populace itself, that's not something that's going to be beneficial. So in this case, compromise is a negative to society. So one party compromising within itself about what the core values of the party wants, I don't see that being an issue, and that's just a common thing. But compromising with the other party when that party wants to literally, like in the case of what happened with the South versus the North, yeah, the South could be saying they want what's in the best interest of the country. And in their case, what's in the best interest of the country is to become is to stay a British colony and stay beholden to Britain. That's not what the core values of America are. That's not something you should compromise on. And we pretty much beat them back into the Stone Age for doing so. They're still suffering today for that. And I think some more extreme things should have happened to them, but I'm not going to get into that here. In the case of the ACA, Romney Care and the Affordable Care Act are not the same thing. It was a vastly popular position for most of the country, so it was one side of the political sphere wanting to go against the will of the people, and the Democrats compromised with what was going against the will of the people. And if the case of like what Circa is saying in chat is that had Romney been elected, they would have been willing to compromise, that's not a freaking compromise. So all the same, if one party is unwilling to compromise for the good of the country, there is no compromise with them. You're not going to get compromise, and any compromise you make is going to be bad for society. So I'm wondering where in history, when you have opposing parties that want to destroy something core and fundamental, was that a good thing? Like, this is how we ended up with the Germany we got. This is how we ended up with the Khmer Rouge. This is how we ended up with all these different horrific factions throughout society. So yeah, it's a net negative. And on that, I'm gonna just go ahead and end my time.
Yeah, I may have fucked up and accidentally forgot to click the start clock. Well, I didn't forget. I clicked
didn't-
it, but it didn't click it go. So you actually
Didn't know
went for
where
a
I was
little
at on the
longer. So
clock.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was perfect. I think you talked for about 45 seconds before I fixed it. So it
I
worked out right.
self-regulated.
I appreciate that. All right. So now we're going to go to you, Mr. Doomer. 3 minutes is on the clock. I promise I'm going to click the start button this time when you start to talk.
Yeah, I think overall, people can kind of come to the conclusion that my side is kind of about how more of a pluralistic society functions, while their side kind of still disagrees on what society should really even become entirely. A lot of the times, like the ACA and other examples were brought up, like these examples that were passed kind of without compromise, especially bipartisan wise. Lethe kind of brought up in his closing, the Civil Rights Act and how the amazing clothing, by the way. Love the guns are always threatening on this side of the debate, at least. In his closing, he brought up the Civil Rights Act and how compromise in that wasn't really necessary, I guess, because it was their shared goal overall. I think that kind of negates some of the compromise that was built into the Civil Rights Act, passed bipartisanly. Stuff like the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission was created in that, kind of forcing more mediation between actual litigation on issues. So that there is actual compromise built into the Civil Rights Act that made it be passed bipartisanly. So negating all that kind of stuff, I feel, is kind of not fair to this kind of prompt, especially. I think most of all, we've had disagreements about liberalism itself, kind of. And I think if you believe that the system should be radically changed or dismantled, then your objection really isn't to political compromise. It's more to the idea of a pluralistic democracy in the first place. But we're currently in a liberal democracy system. So unless you're arguing for replacing all of that entirely, the question of how the system functions, especially within our liberal democracy, kind of comes down to compromise is generally beneficial to the outcomes for people within our system.
All right. Sounded like you tied it off there. Looks like last but certainly not least, is your mic working still, Game Boy?
Jesus Christ, never getting over that.
All right. Well, I just want to make sure before I start the clock. 3 minutes on the clock, sir. It's yours to close. Bring it home.
I'm really tired of getting bogged down. Jesus Christ. We're focusing overly too much on particular policies or, oh, well, if you have opposition to wanting to like look into the prompt as a general idea, you're not really understanding the system that we're in right now. We're a representative democracy. That's besides the point. The only person who I think's been on the dot about this is Know Nothing Attorney, and we're not giving him credit. Yeah, what is the end state without compromise? I mean, he misrepresented my point like really badly, but like that's a good point. The end state without compromise is not let's dismiss every idea that we share in common in order to get our worldview across. I think we should capitalize on what we have in common. That's a good thing. that's what we should be doing. But we shouldn't compromise over the things we think are horrible. That's what our openings were about, guys. If you think it's an absolutely terrible thing to have a war in the Middle East, you know what we shouldn't do? We should say, yeah, I'll have a war in the Middle East, but as long as we have trans rights, this is the important thing here. I think the end result without compromise is a system in which we capitalize not on what makes us similar, but we should capitalize on our differences and have more political diversity so the people are actually represented when voting for people. Do you know how many people I passed up voting for because their voting history had them compromising with the opposition and voting for things that I thought were bad for society just so that they can get small increments to move the Overton window? Absurd amount. Now I haven't been voting for that long, so I'm exaggerating. But still, it's it's kind of embarrassing. I think that whenever we're talking about a democratic system, we oftentimes are talking about a party system. Why are we doing that? Why can't you just also acknowledge people have shared ideas? Not every compromise is between Democrat and Republican. Some are between groups like pro Israel and pro Palestine, and they're having separate parties. Why are pro Palestine people voting for pro people who support pro Israel lobbies? Well, because they want to get small increments in that Overton window. And that's compromising their values that they think are leading to genocides and stuff. This makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. I concede the rest of my time.
All right. So that is everybody's closings. I forgot to mention this at the beginning, which is okay because I like that it's a little bit of a surprise here at the end. I really enjoyed the 2-minute Steel Man, and I think that it demonstrates the importance of what we're trying to do here, in my opinion. So, with that, I'm going to ask each of the two captains to choose somebody that they believe can give us 2 minutes steel manning the other side, giving us the best arguments either they have or that they heard tonight for the other side of the prompt from what they are debating. So that means that Vigilante, I'm going to ask you to give us somebody who can give us 2 minutes of agreement with the prompt. And Doomer, I'm going to ask you to give us somebody who you believe can give us 2 minutes of disagreement with the prompt. I'll let you guys think about that for a split second while I remind chat. As soon as this is over, this is going to be the last part of the judging session. So I'm going to give you guys a link, and it's because it's a shared chat. Everybody should be able to see it. Click that link. It costs you absolutely nothing. I've even got it so you've got VPN privileges if you need that, because nobody wants to catch anything out here on the
Thank
internet.
God. That's been a big thing. Sorry.
I hear you. No, it's okay. So it costs you nothing. Just go ahead and vote. And that's the only deciding factor of which team won the debate tonight. And again, I'm asking you guys to please go based on who you think which team made the best performance, not who you agree with or who you like the most or who you think is the coolest cat at the scratching post. We need to go based on who you think present the best case tonight. So, Doomer, I'm going to go to the AF first. Who do you think can give us a 2-minute steel man of disagreement with the prompt?
I'll go with No Nothing. I think he's got the best grasp on what it looks like on both sides here.
All right, so I assume you understand the assignment here, know nothing. Again, you are just trying to steel man the opposition, demonstrating that you've been paying attention and that you understand both sides of this argument well enough to be able to present what you think their best compelling arguments were. I'll start the clock when you start to talk. Let's see, you are number 2, right? Yeah, you are number 2. Boom. Start it up when you're ready.
Okay, I'll do my best, guys.
You are muted, my friend.
Oh,
So you're going to have to start it up when you're actually ready.
there we go. Yeah. All right, I'll do my best, guys.
Yep.
So I absolutely agree with the opposition on many things. Compromise fails us in many situations, in many ways. And Lethe, one of the things I immediately thought of with this debate topic was the 3/5 compromise. There are things we cannot budge on, and that makes the idea of compromise in situations with bad faith actors a complete like no go at all. You can't even start with them if one of their main negotiating positions is something that you cannot budge on, like immutable characteristics of people. In those cases, compromise cannot be performed, and they can even hurt society. Yeah. Okay. I'll just
That's
leave
if
it at
that's all
that.
you got. That's all you got. That's fine. Not a problem. Again, I understand how difficult what I'm asking everybody to do can be, especially since I'm kind of putting you on the spot on this. But that is kind of why it's a challenge and why I want the audience to get to see this to kind of help to vote. So, Vigi, who do you think on your team can give the best steel man for the opposition, sir? 2 minutes or up to 2 minutes.
Game Boy.
Game Boy. All right. So, Game Boy, sir, I need for you to do 2 minutes or up to 2 minutes explaining the position from the perspective of your opposition here, sir. I will start the clock when you start to talk.
Compromise is seen by them as a tool in which they can accomplish their goals, or in order to further unify society politically to represent what the people want. So if you have a compromise and you want to accomplish a certain goal, the steps you may take in a political structure to organize power around you is to make certain sacrifices politically or organize behind those goals. Just like MLK and LBJ, that is a good example of, hey, they may not agree on everything ideologically, but they both want to get across to this political like policy, and so they will sacrifice their differences and say, okay, well, let's not do this because we know that that won't work. Let's do this, and so that we know it will pass in Congress, and we know that we would get further into what we accomplish maybe further on. I believe it was Know Nothing who asked me, um, if I don't do something now, but I'm taking steps to do it later, using compromise, is that a good way to accomplish my goal? And I think that purpose perfectly summarizes at least his portion of what they were arguing about, is if you use compromise to say bargain with the opposition, you further bring yourself to accomplishing, I think what Chief brought up, universal health care. You perfectly align yourself with that. I would I would try to go to 2 minutes, but I can't.
No, 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 no. That was me. You did the job, man. You did the job. All right. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to drop this link here in the chat for everybody. Everybody should be able to see that. I'm going to drop it in a couple of times here while we're doing this. So it looks like we've only gotten one question from the chatters, and it happens to be a question for all of the debaters. So y'all can go ahead and start voting right now. You're gotten it at least until we're done with the Q&A session before I look at that. But yeah, if you guys want to throw more questions onto the pile, I will get through all of them. But I'm going to go through with 1 minute on the clock for each of y'all to see if you guys can answer this question. This question comes from Ancom Psycom, and the question is, let's pop that back up so everybody can see it on the screen. I'm going to be asking each of you for a example of a compromise that opposes your position. So it's kind of like the steel manning thing, but a little bit more specific insofar as I'm going to be asking all of the affirmatives to give a compromise that they believe was not beneficial for society. And hopefully we don't get any repeats because that'd be cheap. And then also I would like for the negative to go through and give us at least one example of a compromise that you think did actually benefit society. Understand that this is for the chatters. This is for the audience. This is not necessarily for the debate. So again, the debate is technically finished. This is more just for the conversation and to kick us off into the after party, where for those of you who do not know, once the debate is complete, we're just going to take the timer. Well, the timer is just for until I have to go to bedtime. And we're just going to all sit here and we're going to talk. It's going to be an open conversation. So it's not going to be as timed and structured and all that jazz. But once again, Gave everybody a second to think about that. I'm going to go through it this time. I'm just going to go through it in order, just because that's easier. Doomer, 1 minute is on the clock. Can you give me any example of a compromise that you think was not beneficial for society?
I'd probably give the example given in the debate, the 3/5 compromise or whatnot.
Okay, gonna go with the easy one. I had a hunch, but that's okay. Like I said, no duplicates. So I'm gonna look over at you, Vigilante. Same minute on the clock. If you could please, sir, give me an example of a compromise you think was beneficial for society.
I would actually. So I actually did a lot of research into like compromises that were beneficial and weren't beneficial. Like specifically, like looking at ones that like had a high vote count. Um, going into this, shout out Claude because it compiled fucking all of that information for me.
Did you just shout
And
out
like
AI?
gave me, hey, it gave like I'll show my screen later, but
Keep
it
going,
literally
keep
gave
going. I'm
me like
sorry,
all
keep-
of the vote counts and stuff. But I would actually probably say like out of the ones that it gave me that I like had a high vote count, I would actually probably say the ADA and giving disability basically giving disability rights.
Okay, ADA, good answer, good answer. We're gonna kick this over now to you. Preferably stay away from the easy one because we've already done it. Hopefully, you can bring us something other than the 3/5 compromise. Can you name another compromise that you think was a negative choice for society, Mister Attorney,
Mr. Attorney, Esquire. Yeah.
Esquire?
I'll go with the one that has ruined my love of my profession and that of many others. Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland. That was a failure in compromise. That was Obama not wanting to put up a fight, not wanting to get down in the nitty gritty and make political deals to make something happen, all on the understanding that the Republican Party was not going to be bad faith actors and do the exact same thing that they said they couldn't let Obama do. That failed us all, and it has ruined the legitimacy of law and the court system.
All right, that's a pretty solid answer, actually. All right, Lethe, sir, can you give us an example of a beneficial compromise other than the one Vigi named?
Other than the one Vigi named, a beneficial compromise. I would
Not
say.
a hard question, Twin.
I mean, seriously. It's a little tough. I would say the compromise that happened in Constantinople in
Okay.
regards to the Christian religion being utilized and how the people were treated in that country.
Okay. To be clear, the question was not an American-centric question. I think that was actually brought up in the debate by, was it you, Game Boy, who mentioned that it doesn't necessarily say American society. So yeah, again, this question goes larger than just American society. So Constantinople is a perfectly acceptable answer to me. Let's, Chief, your turn. Minute on the clock. Give us a compromise you think was negative for the society.
Yeah, compromise of 1850. We admitted California as a free state in exchange for a stronger Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, where the northern states had to help catch runaway slaves. Oops.
Okay, that's a good one. Fair enough. And now, last but not least, Game Boy, an example of a beneficial compromise from you, if you would, sir.
Well, guys, the great compromise, the compromise in which we made the House of Representatives and the Senate, bro. It's the great compromise. House of Representatives, population based, Senate's equal representation. Greatest compromise to ever be made.
Fair enough. And how'd that turn out? All right. So, last chance, everybody, to get those votes locked in. I'm going to give you guys just a couple more seconds while I'm glazing all of the debaters tonight. Great performance from all of y'all. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Know Nothing, first time here. Great job. Great showing. Fucking had a blast. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed having you. For what it's worth, after we're done, you don't have to stick around for the after party, but it is kind of the most fun part. You've already done the work. The rest of it's just kind of us getting to go over it all. That said, I do get one vote, although for what it's worth, the vote is no longer meaningful. My vote has lost all power and value. There is no longer a monetary or a point point value associated with my presentation or with my MVP selection. But for the night, I'm gonna have to give it, I think. You know what? I'm going to wait until after the. I don't want to bias the audience. I'm going to hold on to that. So we're going to go ahead and kick this over. I'm going to count about 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
While you're counting, let me say
5.
thank you for having me here. I did have a great time after I got the nervousness out at the beginning.
It definitely showed that you fell into step, and that's what matters. So, all right. So the votes are still coming in. That's the last vote I'm going to allow. It is locked in. 8-7 in favor of the negative. So it looks like Vigilante, Lethe, and Game Boy actually take the win tonight by the slimmest of fucking margins, 53-46. So that said, we're going to round that. Any other day, that would have been a tie. But we're not doing ties like that anymore. So I want everybody to remember that. So we're going based on even though every single person here is going to get 5 points for the actual ranking board. The chat has spoken, and it barely eked out in favor of the negative. So good job, everybody. Again, like I said, we definitely enjoy everybody showing up tonight. Clock's going to go off for everybody out there in chat. Just so you know, after what we're done, when we're done with what we're doing here, after my little closing talk here, we're still going to keep streaming. We're going to stay live for a little while longer. But the rest of this, if you're watching the VOD, you got to be here live to catch the rest of this. We do this every Friday and Saturday night. Usually it's going to be 7 o'clock on Fridays, 6 o'clock on Saturdays. We're still figuring it out. Every night's a new adventure. We're still trying to make things better for you guys. We're always looking for feedback. We're always looking for debaters. And more importantly, we're always looking for audience. So if you guys liked what you saw, tell a friend and get more people in here. And we will keep putting this show on for you guys because I think that we are here trying to actually make this space a better space. And I hope that everybody out there in the chat agrees with that mission statement. So cheers, everybody. Appreciate y'all one more time. And now
Who won MVP?
let's go. MVP. That's right. Yeah. Forgot that I had to make a decision on that. Okay. So Lethe got caught a couple of times, and I honestly Know Nothing sort of caught you in a trap, so that kind of took it out. Let's Chief did great, but he also did sort of just make some shit up. It seemed he did sort of reel it back in his closing there, so that was cool. But it did feel like he was. At first, I thought that his question was like intended as a trap, but then I found out, oh no, he actually is asking his fucking opposition. Hey, was that the thing where that thing happened? I thought that was kind of funny. Vigi. So Vigi was great. Oh, and also Lethe, you totally let Let's Chief take over your fucking cross for most of it. I thought that was a fun point to watch.
Yeah, he started asking you questions.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
no
it
one
was
else catch that?
it was something. Oh, I
They're all
absolutely
my
watched it.
cross.
And he did it super fucking smooth too. That was the best part. Like he slithered into
We're
that.
just two gals chatting.
That's it. Just two gals chatting. Game Boy, you did great. Of course, you actually managed to go an entire debate without mentioning Puff Daddy. So good on that. But on the same token,
It was in there. It was subliminal.
That's one.
Oh, was it sub? You had it was while you were having the mic issues, is what it was. So yeah.
Actually, yeah, I
So
was thinking some Puff Daddy.
He
there
was
you
doing a
go.
little freak off.
No Nothing did great job, like I said, especially considering this was your first time trying to do this, or at least do it like this. Again, I can't imagine this is your first ever attempt at a debate, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, you did a great job. You definitely got better throughout the course of the thing, and you definitely started laying traps, and that was really cool to watch. But I kind of feel like the person who had it together from start to finish was Doomer. So yeah, Doomer is going to get my MVP
Hey,
for
you
the
skipped
for the
me.
night. I'm not skipping you. I'm coming to you last. I've got them in an order here. So Vigi did a great job. Vigi, the only thing that I wish that I could start seeing from you, and for those of you who do not know, Vigi is about to be in the Word War Debate Competition Contender Series. And one thing that I am looking for from you is for you to start having a little bit more gravitas, a little bit more power behind. Like, it seems like a lot of the times when you're talking,
You
you're not as committed to it, but then whenever you do commit to it, like whenever like the he's fucking wrong, like you went from like 0 to angry. And so again, whenever you're, it just doesn't feel like you're feeling what you're saying sometimes. And I don't know if maybe
it's
that's just me who sees that, but go ahead.
it's a shorter time span.
Is
I
that
feel
what it
like
is? You don't get
I
as
have
much
to rush
momentum?
myself. Yeah. Yeah, like
Okay.
it really, if you really want to see what it looks like when I actually put like a whole lot of emotion behind my like opening and closing statements because I'm not rushing, go watch
Mhm.
my most speakeasy debate against JS.
Okay.
I Circo
Been trying
really
to get
liked
that
that
person
one.
into the DMZ actually, JS, for what it's worth. That's the dreaded conservative. Is that correct?
Yep, that is
Yep.
dreaded
I
conservative.
have been sending him the prompt and hopefully he will grace us at some point here in the
And do you
DMZ.
feel like
So
because we try to be tame here, that also kind of affects like your performance, that you're kind of intentionally maybe keeping like a baseline level as a
because you're not
result
getting
of like our
provoked.
decorum expectations, maybe? Or no? Or is it just
What
because you're rushed?
what makes the
Busy.
conservative dreaded?
Oh, uh, one, I don't really practice my openings and closings. All of it's like I do it on the spot thing. The funny thing is like I've because of my lack of time sometimes I've actually started fucking like writing my openings while I'm at work. Um,
You
but then
shouted
a lot
out
of
AI.
You still mad about it?
okay, no. I shouted out one specific AI, and that's because it really helped me with like compiling information. So like AI is good at one thing, and it's good at compiling information. Um, and Claude is really good at doing that. Um,
I want to marry Claude too.
and Claude is the only one that actually like sources its shit, and that's like one of the things that frustrates me about all of the other ones is like it doesn't really source its shit unless you make it. But yeah, no. Uh, Being rushed is a lot of like what a lot of my problem. Like even I had notes like for my closings. I don't really write my closings out. I write notes during the debate most of the time. And like there are a couple like quick notes that I skipped while doing my closing just because of sake of time. I combined two paragraphs of my opening to shorten it for time. The trans rights thing and then the women's rights things, those were two separate paragraphs. I just sped that up because I looked at the time and saw how little time I had left.
And I would have agreed
Um,
with you.
I'm uh, yeah. Though it's just it's a time thing. I have a tendency to be more long-winded than fucking 3 minutes.
Radish, did the AI
Really.
shout out count against Fiji in the final score?
It definitely prevented him from getting the MVP. That's all I'm saying. I didn't score. I just, yeah.
That's what I meant.
It is.
MVP.
It's yeah. It absolutely did. Yeah. Again, and this is I get it's because I'm older than y'all. Y'all realize I'm much older than I look. And it just gives me the fucking ick, like when especially it's related to debate. And I understand that this is the most boomer shit I could fucking say, but I feel like especially when it comes to debate specifically, if you have to use AI to collate your thoughts, you're fucking missing the point. Like the whole idea here is for you to be able to get good at organizing your thoughts, to get good at actually delivering
Oh
the
yeah, I
rhetoric.
agree.
Yeah, and so, like, anytime I realize and I have seen it
There's
in
a
real
difference
time
between
on
like
other people's channels where they're like, "You can tell motherfuckers actively, like, throwing what you're saying into AI. What should I say?" And you can
yeah,
tell
there's
because their
like
tone of voice change. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, there's a difference between like how I use AI when like prepping for these and like how somebody like Marte uses AI. Because Marte has been caught using Grok to formulate his points, by the way. Um, but yeah, like how I do it usually is just to help streamline the research, like and compile information together and then use those links to actually like read the links and then find the information. There's a massive difference in doing that versus having the AI create your points for
Sure.
you.
Yes, absolutely. Or have it write your fucking opening, which again, like I said, I have literally seen people do. I don't even remember who it was, but there was somebody I was watching them prep for the debate, and I literally watched them typing it into fucking AI, and I was just like, "Oh, sweet baby Jesus." I'm not going to say any names. That person, I don't want no drama. But I don't think I have invited that person back since I saw that. So that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so
Oof.
back yeah, no name and no shame. It is what it is, because again, there are other forms that is perfectly welcome. Do your thing, and ultimately, like, if you actually did it well, I don't care, right? But the fact that I could hear the AI in this person's voice as well just kind of that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to actually
KCAI,
understand.
It's not
AI.
it's not an AI, it's an assistant.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you.
I
You're
will
just you're just pandering to the fucking future overlords, man.
You
Artificial
just have to
assistant
pose it
Not
as a
AI.
not fair.
contrapositive.
look. Hey, Circa, by the way, AI during the debate. Yeah, you dealt with that the other day when you debated Marte. You weren't debating
Mm.
Marte, you were debating Grok. That's why he seems so smart sometimes. That's what those are the points where he types in the Grok and gets the points.
Yeah,
I
like you
can't
can
tell if
literally hear
Circa
people
hates me or
typing.
loves me.
The
Bro,
answer is
he was
yes.
Whoops.
it was like Game Boy MVP, and also, what are these toddler ass argumentations coming from Game Boy? I was like, oh well, fuck me.
Good stuff.
Short
Yeah,
news.
Marte. Yeah, and again, for what it's worth, I do try. I know Vigi, you know the person well, and et cetera, et cetera. And you were just in a debate with him the other day. I try not to. I avoid shit talking people who are not here to defend themselves. Marte is another debater who's pretty well known, especially in the blood sports space. But he is also a person who's going to be a contender in that word war debate. So I'm sure that you guys
Mhm.
are going to get to see him and what he can do, or apparently what
I look
Grok can
forward
do,
to
according to Vigi. So.
Marte versus Radish.
I've already debated him once. Low key, he literally called me masterful afterwards. I thought that was funny. He yeah, long story short, and again, this is a true story anecdote. It's not me shit talking, but I was on somebody else's panel where the judges, or the, I guess, debate forum, where the judges absolutely hate me, like literally call me by names anytime I, like, just all they have for me is insult. One of them, actually, the other one, Cool Cat, is actually probably going to start debating with us. But anyway, yeah, so basically they were giving us random prompts, and I didn't, it was something about that there should be a mandatory 2 weeks of marital, what do you call it, marital, god damn it,
Counseling?
where
Counseling?
this counseling, thank
Counseling
you,
before divorce.
before a divorce. And basically, the guy said, "Oh, well, yeah, I'll take that one." I just heard, I didn't even really know who Andrew Wilson was at this point, but he was like, "I just heard Andrew debate about this just 2 weeks ago," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. I've never literally heard this argument before, but let's go." So he was literally prepped in this debate by listening to somebody else, a high level debater, just debate this prompt from his angle. And I just saw where the trap was. So I did everything I could to keep reframing it away from where he would want to take it. And I didn't let him take it to the places that he was
I would
prepped
have
for.
I would have set my own
I,
trap there.
again, like I said, I'm not giving you guys a play-by-play. I'm just saying that afterwards, when the judges all said nobody fucking takes you seriously because you're a goddamn communist, which is so funny to me. He was like, dude, I actually think you won. That was kind of masterful. So I was like, oh, thank you, man. So again, I have nothing but respect for the dude. I know that you seem to feel some kind of way about him, Vigi, but the dude's never been nothing but kind to me. So that said,
Oh,
go ahead.
I mean, don't get me wrong. To a degree, I respect him. I
Okay,
respect
word.
his ability to be good faith to an extent, as much as people like that can be good faith.
Yeah.
But it's more of
Damn, what do
I
you mean by people like
w-
that, Vigi?
Christian nationalists,
Those kinds of
all of
people.
them.
Those people? Yeah, okay.
Well, guys, I
Uh,
had
Slippery
a
slope.
prior obligation, so I've got to take off. I'm going to go collab with Echoplex Media. He was in here earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had said you were going to be doing something else tonight. Yeah, have fun over there. You said you're going over to Echoplex. Whenever we're done, we'll probably just raid out to her then.
All right.
Cheers, man. I appreciate
Shout
you.
yourself out.
Yep,
Thank you
shout
for having
yourself
me.
out. Tell everybody who you are, where to find you.
I'm Know Nothing Attorney. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube. I do review of political news, law news, do debates whenever I can get somebody in the chat to do that. Usually those go for like 3 to 4 hours. But yeah, care about law and really want to push for that constitutional convention.
Cheers. Hopefully you'll come back and visit us again, sir, because definitely enjoyed you, and you are definitely welcome back in the future. Have a great night and have a great stream.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Never come back. You're not invited.
Yeah. Anyway, I do give a degree of respect.
Whoa. What's up, guys? Got a bad window up here. There we go. I'm switching over.
Billboard, and you know there's a lot of cars down below that can see the billboard from where the car is, and then he goes and smashes all the windshields on all the cars, right? So then with a hammer. So then when the people get back to the car, they see their smashed windshield, and then they say, "Oh damn, I need a new windshield." And then they look up at the billboard, and it says, "Get your new windshield here."
Man, this has got to be one of the stupidest motherfuckers I've ever seen.
You know, limited time special, act now. You know, and but see, and then people say that about big pharma as well. You know,
exactly that big pharma is investing in turbo cancer centers because
big pharma is investing in turbo cancer centers.
Hey, Light Spectre in YouTube chat. I'm trying to go over to my other collaboration for the night.
You know, we've seen it in
yeah, he's Maddie. I'm in his like application for getting into his stream, but for some reason I'm not showing up in there.
It makes it so, Peter, you don't want to go out. You just want to close yourself off to the world because
don't do that, Dr. Maria. But I think we can bring it full circle a little bit here because it ties into your motives thing. And I said that there's these well-defined motives for weather and war and financial markets and things like that. But what I had an epiphany about this recently, and this ties into what we were just talking about. What I think they're doing with these spraying programs is I think they're creating demand for their synthetic world. So they're
creating demand for their synthetic world. They're wrecking everything. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I have no sound from you.
Uh-oh.
There's a gear next to the hang up button. You probably just have
to can you hear me now?
Pick your audio device. No, cannot hear you. Let me make sure it's not on my... No, it's not. I don't see a Oh, you're very low.
Oh, very low. What? How?
Hold on. Maybe it is me. Output devices. Let me see. I don't think it's me, but maybe it is. Hold on.
Now I need to remember how to
Fucking
get
pro
you
streamers.
up. There we go.
All right, let's see. Okay, can you talk some more?
Okay, yeah. Okay, there we go. I got you up on my
There we
screen
go.
now.
Okay, cool. Can you turn yourself up somehow?
I need to mute you. There we go. Can I turn myself up? I don't see a way to do that. I mean, I've got my mic up high on OBS. I don't see a setting on your system over here. Audio settings? Doesn't look like I can turn it up. I have it set just the same way I had it the other night. I don't know why it wouldn't be working now. I can't hear you, man.
What the heck?
Okay, well now I have you.
Okay, cool.
I have unmuted you on the share system. I don't know how should I refer to that?
The call.
The call. Okay, I've got you unmuted on the call. Earlier I was getting double with the call and OBS, and so I muted you on the call, and you were coming through just fine. But now, okay, so now I guess I just got you coming through the call.
Okay, is that okay? Is that gonna work?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
I had to turn you up, but that's fine.
Cool. Then I think we're set.
Great.
I'm gonna run real quick. I know I just came in, but I want to jump over from the debate, and then I will rejoin you in just a second.
Oh yeah, and when you get a chance too, we should set up the shared chat, but we'll do that when you get back.
Oh hell yeah! All right.
All right. Yeah. Take your break. I'll go back to this insane thing I was watching.
Hell yeah.
All right. See you when you get back.
All right.
That's what these sprays do. They just wreck everything. And then the UVB and the UVC, I mean, is even worse. Really, the UVB and the UVC is the worst part of it, really. Because the sprays, I said the sprays wreck everything. They wreck a lot. It's really the UV and the UVB and the UVC that wrecks everything. And so you have this dynamic going on where everything is being wrecked, where the natural world is being destroyed. Well, doesn't that create, and they've been open about it, doesn't that create demand for big business to come in and say, oh, look, the world is all messed up. And it's because of global warming. But here we have the cure. We have fake trees.
Fake trees. Fake trees? Is he talking about fucking? Is he talking about like the
plants, genetic,
the cell towers that look like trees?
You genetically, we have all these different pills that you can take to save you and make you better, even though as the world is falling apart all around you. Just take our synthetic world and all our corporate products that are designed to fill this gap that we just created, this gaping hole in nature that we just created. Now we're coming out with products that will fill that gap. It's that's what I really think that they're doing. And and here's another epiphany that I've had recently that I've been talking about. I think big tech is the head of the snake. They're the ones coming out with all this synthetic world stuff, right? So this is creating demand. I mean, they're the ones covering it up in the new media, right? On the internet,
right?
Big tech is just they've been covering this thing up as much as they can. You know why?
They control everything, censor any kind, promote what they want to promote. You're right about that. Big tech.
And I've done a lot of research into things like game theory, and
I've done a lot of research into things like game theory.
Against us is a
Jesus Christ.
Quantum computer artificial intelligence that's been telling them what to do this whole time. That's where this stream of BS that we've been subjected to for at least 10 years now, out just in your face gaslighting and stonewalling for like 10 years. And you got
we're trying to find a saying for this, right? Like, just because you think you're being gaslit doesn't mean that you're not out of your fucking mind.
How do these people come up with these talking points? It used to come from the CIA.
The CIA. It used to be the CIA. Is he going to tell us that bullshit about how the CIA invented the term conspiracy theory after JFK was arrested? I hope he says that. I love that one.
Thought up all these diabolical talking points.
Oh, you're gaslighting yourself, sir.
Crimes. But now I think they just go to their computer and ask it, and they have like way better AI than anything you and I are looking at. We're talking about like 30 years ahead. And if you know about quantum computers.
Oh, dude, now this guy doesn't know anything about quantum computing. This guy knows probably about as much as I do, which is very little.
Might as well say that they're infinite computing power. It's not a stretch to say that it's just infinite computing power, because just one of these highly functioning quantum computers could absolutely run everything in the world. And I think this quantum computer, this secret, malevolent quantum computer artificial intelligence, is running what I call the new Manhattan Project. In other words, the spraying programs.
Oh, now we got a new kind of AI that you don't have access to that's actually doing the spraying, friends. It's not actually people. It's Claude.
I have to end this segment now, but your book sounds fascinating. I haven't read it, but I will.
No, she won't.
Chemtrails, the new Manhattan Project, Peter A. Kirby. How do you get it? Skyhorse Publishing, correct? Can you get this on Amazon as well?
Oh, yeah. It's on Amazon. That's probably the best place to get it. Tony works in mysterious ways. I gather that he's finding other avenues to sell the book, but I guess I won't see that until I see my first royalty check, which is not going to be till like near the end of the year. But yeah,
dude, I make more money. I bet you I make more money on Twitch by the end of the year than he makes on this fucking book, dude.
Available on Amazon right now, and you can get it. It's listed for $40, but
$40. Nobody's gonna buy that book for $40.
At different times, it does that thing where buy it now and you got a discount, you can get it for like $30 or $32 or something like that. So
fascinating, Peter. I thank you for taking the time to join me today. My mind is going to explode right now. Thank you so much.
All right, good job, Dr. Maria. We're going to take a look at, we're going to see what's up with this Peter Kirby guy. See what's on his YouTube channel. Are there more people named Peter? Nope, here he is. Peter A. Kirby. Let's see here. What's on his YouTube channel? Videos. Oh no. Here's, he gave a talk at a community center in fucking February. Let's go. Hell yeah. Chemtrails exposed at San Geronimo Community Center. On fucking Valentine's Day too, man. Fucking what man, I don't know. I didn't spend Valentine's Day with anybody special this year, but I mean this is like next level. Oh, that's why his book's so fucking expensive. Look how big it is. Look at you. It's like a jumbo book.
Peter Kirby is the speaker today. He's a local guy from San Rafael. He's written 3 books.
Come on, buddy. Valentine's Day. It even says it on the video. Come on, Peter, let's go. Oh. Those are cool paintings.
Hi. Wow. Look at all these people here. Oh my goodness. I was holding events and just organizing them.
Oh, this is great.
I was lucky if my mom showed up.
Oh no. I mean, I can step on this, but the problem is I think the noise floor is so high.
So yeah, his introduction was pretty much who I am. The way I like to describe it is that I'm just a normal guy who was disgusted by chemtrails and just started fighting it the best way he could. And I battled my way up from the dark corners of the internet all the way up to Children's Health Defense.
Well, just look at how big the pages are too, Ghost Man. Like, look at the pages are. It's not just that there's a lot of pages. The pages are large.
Publishing and the Tucker Carlson Show. So, I just I thank God that I have a brain to, kind of suss these things out. One of the first things I did when I became of chemtrails was that I figured, we're here in California and the government does absolutely everything. So,
Man, this is the same thing as the interview we just watched.
The air for substances that aren't supposed to be there. And lo and behold, they were. It's called the California Air Resources Board. And as most of you know, their main job is to enforce the theory of man-made global warming. But they were monitoring the air for what they called toxins. And they said none of these things should be in the air at all. And they included in their toxins aluminum and barium. But then you go to another page on their website where you can generate charts of ambient.
Oh, thanks for pulling a clip, X1011.
Substances in the
One of these days I'll get around to taking the clips that you've made in the last few months, all of you, and putting them on TikTok or YouTube.
They were in the atmosphere at elevated levels and rising. They were rising from 1996, the time that domestic large-scale spraying operations began, and continuing to rise. They might have had, one down year in there between the both of them. But both aluminum and barium were rising from 1996 until 2002, when the CARB stopped sampling for it. So, I took screenshots of this. And there was actually another environmental group that was aware of the CARB data at the time. It hadn't been publicized until I took screenshots and did a story on it, but there was this other environmental group maybe you've heard of called Environmental Voices with Deborah Whitman. Never heard of them? Okay, anyway.
This is like the greatest orator of our time. My God, maybe we did try to look into this guy and fucking got so bored with him that we were just like, oh, we can't possibly watch any more of this.
Data and saying, hey, what's up with this? But the eventual upshot of it was that the CARB ended up saying, no, that was not the data that you saw. And they presented new data, which of course, showed that the problem was either totally gone or barely there. But that new data that they only distributed to me and about 20 other people. Never posted it on their website. Never did anything else about it. You can't generate charts for ambient airborne toxins on the CARB website anymore. They took all that down, so they just went ahead and swept it under the rug. When what they should have been doing was ringing every alarm bell. I mean, their mission statement is to protect the air quality of California and protect people's health and protect business operations that might be affected by whatever's in the air and all this, but they aren't doing any of that.
Man, Jordan Peterson is Jordan Peterson is a way better orator than this fella.
For them to actually do something, well, they just run away. And so that's where it stayed. They just sent me some BS emails, gave me some BS story. But that's how I made my first bone in the new media.
Made my first bone? I don't know what the fuck that,
from there, I just...
Like a dog? A dog got its first...
investigation. From there, I could have been like, hey, I'm an internet personality now. Like, oh, look, people are paying attention, and I'm just going to, talk about all this and that and the other thing. That's not what I did. I went back to the drawing board and did a 2-year investigation into weather modification. You didn't hear from me for 2 years. I was actually a staff writer at Activist Post by that time because...
Oh, Activist Post back in the day was so cooked. So fucking cooked.
Post had just...
Oh, I don't think he made any money on it.
Just posting things on forum websites and whatnot. But, I had my foot in the door. I could have, gone in, just saying, hey, look at me, look how great I am, as so many people.
I don't think that would have worked, friend.
That's not what I'm about.
I'm like way more charismatic than this guy, and I've been trying to do that for a long time.
That's what I'm about these days, because, I'm kind of like flippant. And as I just said to Marcy,
welcome back.
I'm kind of a diva.
Good for you. Good for everybody.
Because I've done the work, and because I'm provoking a response.
I hadn't had dinner, so I had to step away for a few minutes.
I've done all the homework. All I want to do is provoke. Yeah. You know what I mean? now I'm like, oh, hey, look at me. Like, come attack me, please.
What do we got going on, Dave?
This guy, we're looking into this guy, Peter A. Kirby. I think we might have looked into him in the past, and the reason I don't really remember him is because he's not very memorable, because this is really fucking boring.
That's what's been.
I think.
I'm in this, with a good heart.
I put him in my list of people to check out later, so we'll just come up here. What's up, man? How was your? I came in and talked to people for a little bit during your debate. I will say I was
Did a little
annoyed.
self-promotion.
And I was a little annoyed though.
Why were you annoyed?
Just there's the subject matter. It's like, should people, is compromise good? And it's like, well, fucking, I don't know. Is the compromise between like a hot fudge sundae and a pile of dog shit? Then probably not. Like,
I mean, it was a very vague prompt.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I wasn't.
But it was so vague that I didn't really know how you can argue against it. Though the audience voted that they won, so I don't know.
The audience voted? That's weird. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, they normally have judges. And this time they were like, I mean, I don't know if it's just because like their usual judges were in the debate or what, but they just had the audience vote this time.
All right, I sent you the stream together link.
All right.
Or the invite. I don't know. It should just show up in your notifications or something on Twitch.
I learned that earlier tonight, actually.
Yeah, you just click the little thing. What doesn't even look like a notification, it looks like an email box thing. I hate that thing. I also hate that they still have like DMs. I don't think there's like any reason. Twitch.
Hold on, I'm having. Oh wait, is it working now? Can you talk?
Hello.
Okay, it was coming through double for a second, and now it's not.
Huh. Oh, you might have. It was because you probably didn't immediately have Stream Together unmuted, or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now we can share the chat. Very nice.
All right. Yeah. All right. Hi, Dave's chat.
Very good. All right, so I have something later that because of your profession, I know is going to piss you off, but we're not going to do that yet.
I did want to tell you, I don't know how I didn't bring this up before. I don't know that there's really conspiracy worth stuff out there, but it might be something you're into. I have had personal experience with an East Texas cult. I helped somebody get out of there. I got to sit in a cult leader cabin on a cult compound in East Texas. It's a good time.
Oh, we do cults on Thursdays. We usually talk about Scientology. Last night we did a bunch of people like doing their fawning tributes to Scientology cult leader David Miscavige. It was very interesting. They were like, he's so nice, he remembered my name. You've set the bar pretty low. There's only like 9 Scientologists. He knows all your names. So anyway, do you know who Maria Z is with 3 E's?
I don't. But by the way, just for the record, the cult is the Church of Wells of East Texas.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a Christian fundamentalist cult.
Oh yeah, I don't end up covering that stuff that much. I'm like more interested in like the weird. I know that stuff's like hurtful to people, but it's not weird.
It's not weird. I think I thought it might be interesting for you, but not right for conspiracy stuff.
Yeah. So Maria Z, I think she's either Australian or from New Zealand or something, and she spells her last name, or somebody decided their last name should have 3 E's in it, and she's cooked. This is A Band from Nature, Agenda 2030 Accelerates. I don't know who Jeff Evely is, but this is apparently episode 94 of the Daily Pulse.
But what is her affiliation?
The none. I think she's independent.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Special edition of Daily Pulse, where we keep your finger on the pulse of the latest breaking news and the news they're keeping from you. Brought to you by the Vigilant Fox and Z Media. I'm your host.
Oh, that Vigilant Fox guy. I guess she works with that. That guy's like some kind of Twitter weirdo.
Oh.
He's like
Wait,
kind of
people-
like got boosted by like Elon Musk for a while on there.
Oh wow. Okay. This should be interesting.
We recently told you about a Canadian veteran who dared to
Her green screen's really good.
the woods despite the government in Canada threatening people with a $25,000 fine for
I don't know.
walking-
Do I see like light blur on it? Like traffic that is supposed to be moving, but it's just blurred?
Yeah. No, I mean like I'm not saying her background image is interesting or good. I'm just saying that like
Seamless.
she's got a proper green screen with good lighting. You don't see like that little glow around her really.
Yeah.
Unless she's like really sitting in front of whatever this very blue city is, which I don't think is true.
Canada. That man was Jeff Evely, and the fine turned out to be actually over $28,000 because, you know, taxes and victim fees. Here's a refresher of that.
So what did this guy really do? They didn't fine him 28 grand for like taking a walk in the forest. What did he do? What did this guy do, do you think?
It's forbidden. What? God. Man, I don't know. Should go to Nova Scotia, do the same, then ignore the ticket and go home.
Oh, great.
I'm sure he was harassing someone.
Fees. Here's a refresher of that
I don't know. Maybe he ate a bird or something.
incident.
This is the DNR office. They have wallabies in Australia. Maybe he ate a wallaby. Code in Cox
In Nova Scotia.
And this is not the woods. Wait, that's in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
But she's very invested in Nova Scotia.
So I have a couple of conservation officers with me right now who are not on camera but have advised me that if I go into the woods, if I defy their orders to go into the woods, then I will be fined. And
so this is like some preserved space, right? This is some space where you're not supposed to go because it's like some kind of wildlife reserve or something. And he probably had some like nice park rangers come up to him and be like, "Hey, just so you know, like this is the woods here are restricted and you can't go hiking there."
I feel like he was like jumping back and forth across the line. That had to be. It was actually like a $2,000 fine every time.
Right, like that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's like, "I asked you to cross this line," and then he fucking crosses the line.
Wow, that's a reference.
I love Bugs Bunny.
I mean, the old Looney Tunes. I mean, nobody knows that stuff anymore.
I only remember the really funny ones. Oh, what up, Elaney? What up, Elaney? I like the funny ones that there's that one, and then there's the one where he shaves the monster, and then there's just shoes. I love that shit. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I knew a cat like that.
And then they would always play the opera one, where Bugs cross dresses.
Oh yeah, that's great. It's woke.
my fine to $50,000. So I'm going to walk down here and go into these woods.
Wait, why? Just to do it? What are you, a child? Mom's like, if you take one more step, and the kid's like, "Step, Mom, step. I took a step."
I'm opposed to law. I hate
we
law
don't
and
know
order.
We don't know why you're not supposed to go into there. Wouldn't it be great if there was like a fucking like just like this giant swarm of bees and he went there and then he got swarmed by these bees?
And he would complain to no end, I'm sure.
Be like, "I knew they put the bees in there." I'll be back. I'm gonna pour myself a drink.
All right.
I don't know that there's a good spot to do this, but I'm just going to make this as painless as I can for those guys and go in here.
What the fuck?
As well, walking in the woods.
Egypt had a plague of locusts, Elaney.
And yes, if you watch the rest of that video, Jeff was indeed issued that fine. I maintain.
I'm sorry. Why did we skip the part where he got the fine? Why? That's the more interesting part of the video, not the part where he goes, "Hey, here's the woods. Here's my house," or whatever.
Agenda, but people like Jeff and others are very much aware of the fact that these government officials who work
A
for
plague
us
of crows eating their flag?
don't have the right to dictate to us where we can and can't walk as free people. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm sorry, what?
Way out of control. And it is in fact up in their faces. A huge amount of resistance has been seen worldwide to this insane story out of Canada, and it's something.
She's legit. Like, how can they constrain where we walk as free people? Are you a sovsit? Is that what's going on?
Oh, I got some of that for you later.
Oh God, I love sovsit stuff.
So
it drives me crazy.
I heard you while I was pouring my drink. I didn't know. I got up and then I thought she was going to show the part where the dude like got the fucking ticket or whatever. But apparently, I heard you. You're like, why'd you just show the part where he just like was here's the woods?
Like if you back it up, it's just him walking into leaves. Like the camera is only capturing foliage hitting the camera, and then that's where the video cuts out.
This is gonna be. I wonder what this guy has to say.
I was gonna say like maybe he's a based anarchist. Like he's just like no laws, no state.
Yeah, he's like one of those sort of like conservationalist sort of like rural people who's like they're not. They might have a gun, but they're not into gun culture, and they are like these. I've been walking these woods since I was a kid, and I'd be damned if the government tells me not to walk these woods anymore. I could get with that, right? It's like, all right, dude, you get a mulligan on the woods.
I mean, I feel like he's sooner to be one of those people. Was it Northern Idaho, where they just like barricaded themselves in against the federal government?
Oh yeah, you know about the state of Jefferson? You know what that is?
Yeah, I know about the state of Jefferson.
Yeah, the people in Shasta County are hella pissed off because they're not included in the potential state of Jefferson, and they're like, "But we want to create a terrorist fucking state in the Pacific Northwest too."
Why aren't I included in fantasy role play time?
Yeah, the media wench did this whole like for a while. She was doing this one documentary by these people up there, and then she did this whole thing about the state of Jefferson. She was streaming like kind of a lot about it, and I. Why did? Oh, is that your bot? Okay.
This agenda really is. Jeff Evely is joining us today to discuss his story and the awakening that he is seeing in Canada and all around the world. He joins us after this short word from one of the sponsors who make this show.
Oh, what do you think the sponsor is? I'm going with gold.
Hold on. I just realized that like I reposted a video from one of my regulars without checking what it was. Oh, okay. The bird eating the Israeli flag. Okay. I was like, maybe I should check what that is before I'm like reposting.
Why is I don't give a fuck what people like. I just have the links turned on.
I was actually about to go do that.
Yeah. Go. Nightbot, calm down.
There we go. I think that should be fine now. I mean, early on, I had some trolls that were just doing horrendous things in my chat. I think you saw one of them. They followed me in here, like last time I was, or a couple times ago I was in here. Oh, I heard he threatened my daughter in your chat.
Oh, that's, I think if he was in my chat, my mods probably fucking took care of that like real quick. Like, well, you can do whatever you want here, but not that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Echoplex mods. Hell yeah.
I don't even know. I didn't even remember that happening. I might have been drinking or something. If you could imagine that.
Alan Armstrong examines a troubling truth. Our modern monetary system directly contradicts biblical finance principles of honest weights.
Oh no, it's gold and God. So it's going to be like instead of you sending them money for gold that they never send you, you'll send them money for gold coins with a picture of Jesus on it that they never send you.
Oh my God. Was they're gonna have like a certificate of authentication too for your Bible? You gotta pay extra for the certificate of authentication.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe your Bible's a fucking NFT.
Sorry, you mean digital trading card?
Digital trading card. That's right. A picture of Jesus.
Gold isn't just a metal, Armstrong writes. It's God's testimony in the ground that truth is weighty, value is real, and justice.
Gold is God's testimony in the ground?
Lady, it's just gold.
What it's a rock.
Right. It's useful, but
Can I say the same thing about tin? Let me bring some tin out. We'll have a good time. Let me preach the gospel with tin.
Their approach to retirement protection on these same timeless principles. While central banks print trillions from nothing, gold remains what God declared it to be in Genesis.
Yeah, but the problem is, I bet the place that this is crazy. I was gonna start to talk, and then Maria Z just said the craziest thing. But like, I bet this is one of those things where it's like a gold IRA, right? Where you send the money, and they say, "Don't worry, we'll hold on to this gold for you."
Sorry, come again.
A gold IRA. It means that you send the money, and then they tell you, "Oh, we'll hold on, and then they invest in gold on your behalf or whatever."
Right.
Which is fucking
no
stupid,
actual
because
gold
you can
for
just go on you can go on eBay, and like, if you want an ounce of gold, you can just buy it from somebody on there that has 100% feedback, and they send it to you in a little fucking envelope, and you have to sign for it. And now you have a little bar of 1 ounce of gold, and you put it in a safe deposit box or under your pillow,
or
you
you
do all
could
kinds
pay
of things with it.
Or you could pay the price of a cup of coffee to sponsor this ounce of gold.
Oh, that's right. Just to know that it exists.
Armstrong's exploration of gold and sound money couldn't be more timely. From the tabernacle to Solomon's temple to the streets of New Jerusalem, Scripture consistently presents gold as God's standard of honest value. Genesis Gold Group.
I don't think that the Bible says this. I'm not a fucking Bible expert, but I don't think this shit's in the Bible. I don't think that God spent a lot of time gold bugging in the Bible.
I mean, God hated the golden calf, right? He was very mad about that.
That's because it was like plated. He was angry that it was like not really a solid gold. It was like an actual calf that they had plated in gold. The reason he didn't like that is that they fucking tortured a calf.
No, that's my testimony. You can't wrap meat in testimony. Jesus flipped the money changers tables. Yeah. You think
our,
that was
our
gold,
Aussie our Aussie contingent is Lady B will come here later too. Maybe she'll be like, "Fuck, it's Maria Z again." Although, to be fair, to be completely honest, the reason that I had Maria Z on the docket is because last week Lady B from Australia did ask how she was doing. So this is Lady B Miniature's fault, folks.
Retirement accounts into physical precious
Light
metals.
Spectre, we have a joint chat going on over in Twitch. Why don't you just jump over to Twitch, man?
Oh, is there somebody in your YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I would suggest maybe, because of what we're going to be covering here, if you care about your YouTube channel, I would suggest maybe turning that shit off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
YouTube is just like about conspiracy stuff. Like, if you're making fun of it or whatever, you are, for whatever reason, I think it might be money, you're far more likely to end up copying like some bullshit from them than if you're actually the one spreading conspiracy theories.
Oh wow.
I've had like
I didn't get anything last time.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's your decision. I had like I got a ding like a while back for like medical misinformation, but the fucking the video that I was just like making fun of did not get that ding and was still active on YouTube.
Wow.
And then I was like, I'm never streaming to fucking YouTube ever again. I'm going to only put things that I have decided specifically to put on there.
Well, Light Spectre, if my stream gets shut down, that's on you, because you're the only reason I'm keeping it up.
Oh, Light Spectre's here on Twitch.
Oh, all right. Oh, there he
Looks
is.
like they're in my chat.
Nice. Well, bye, YouTube.
Looks like they're in